We're going live?
There you go. We're live now. Chris is still shoveling food in his mouth. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just doing it. Okay.
Oh,
Play the intro,
so
fucker.
professional.
Play the intro.
Oh, yeah, intro.
Right.
There.
Yeah, that. Hey guys, Ken Thiessen, Team KDEX and Vortex Optics. You're listening to the First Focal Plane podcast with Sean, Chris, and Rooster.
Welcome to the First Focal Plane podcast with Sean and Rooster.
I have multiple questions.
I didn't hear impact after that shot.
Yeah, that was my first
really
question.
Suck.
Yeah. Second question. Why did we bleep Ken? It's like, hi, this is Ken Thiessen from Fuck You.
This is Ken Thiessen from former employer.
That's why we bleeped it. And number 3, apparently I just got kicked off the show.
You did. You know what we meant to tell you, but well, here we are.
It's okay. I'll just have a front seat and I'll be in the audience.
Right on.
All right.
Carry on.
Let's get rolling.
Where are we? Well,
I don't know.
this is me. Welcome to episode 78 of the First Focal Plane podcast. Hold on to your seats. You're about to get schooled. AM Precision Rifles in Leduc, Alberta, who have everything you need to compete at the highest level of any long-range precision rifle game of your choice. From a rebarrel to a full-on custom build from scratch, EM Precision guarantees performance. Find them on Facebook, Instagram, and their website at emprifles.ca. EM has a special offer right now. 6.5 Creedmoor built on a Curtis Custom hybrid action in an MDT XRS chassis with a Trigger Tech primary trigger, a 26-inch 8-twist Oregon Mountain Rifles tactical carbon fiber barrel, complete with threaded muzzle and thread protector. This rifle is Cerakoted and comes with a 5-round AICS pattern magazine. You got it there? They're showing it.
Here, let me pull it up to the main.
All right.
There you go.
So the deal here, you guys, is you can get this rifle at a 10% discount by ordering through the First Focal Plane podcast. 10% off, or get a free Pelican V800 case and free shipping. Up to you which one you take, but order it through the show to qualify. Special shout out to one of our listeners, Isaac Wheeler, for the wood backboard display you see this rifle on. Did you show that picture, Sean? Shane, whoever.
Do we have a picture there? I don't think we have that queued up.
I'm not sure where it is.
It don't matter, but
Go on.
anyway, mention when you call about this rifle that that you saw it on the show, heard about it on the show, and earn your 10% off. Let them know that we're the best.
I think we're going to have to say that's a limited time offer, because aren't you guys trying to run a sticker draw for that rifle here starting next week?
I suppose. Well, get in while you can.
Sure, let the cat out of the bag.
Before it goes to some undeserving guy.
Well, what if it sells?
No, that's true.
Well, if it sells, we're just going to have to sticker draw another rifle.
That's right.
That's right.
You
You
sticker
have to
draw
build
me
another one.
instead.
Yeah.
That's right. Get building.
Yeah.
So I got a funny story.
Wait a
Kinda
minute. Hold
Not
on.
funny.
I want to hear your story, but before you do that, our listeners, especially our audio listeners, should probably know who our guests are tonight. Do you think?
Well, why don't you introduce them, Christopher?
Well, because I'm the host for tonight. Okay, so tonight we've got Shane and Mikey from EM Precision. Well,
Shane from EM Precision.
we got Shane from EM Precision. We got Mikey from Call Sign, and
No. Mikey's not from Call
that's
Sign.
right. Not from, why don't you fuckers just introduce yourselves?
So I am Mike / Mikey. From myself, I am sponsored by Shane and Steve from EM Precision and Van from Apex Optics.
And Chase
And
Curtis.
Chase Curtis from Curtis Custom Actions.
Yes.
How are
And
your
NBC
cheeks?
likes me
Cheeks
every now
and
and
your
then.
knees.
So, yes. So Mike is part of the team. Steve couldn't be on the show today because he is happily celebrating that he's allowed out in public again now that Alberta has lifted the REP. So he's stuffing his face out for dinner tonight and listening to the show with his wife. Yeah.
Wait, both at the same time?
I think so. You guys came second to steak.
Good for them.
Yeah,
As
freedom
we
first.
should. Yeah.
I can handle that.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay,
now
that-
Sean, now tell your story.
Oh, it's just more of a coincidence. I'm in the booming metropolis of Yorkton, Saskatchewan right now at the Holiday Inn Express. And it's my son's 6th birthday today, so we came up to go to the water slides and shit. Anyway, so I check in and I've got this water bottle, this Yeti water bottle with me, and I put that on the counter. And the guy says, I can't really see it with my background, but he looks and he sees this Bolt Action coffee sticker. He's like, oh, I just ordered a bunch of that stuff. I love it. I'm like, no, you didn't. He's like, yeah, I did. He's like, I heard it on some podcast. I'm like, no way. The first Focal Plane podcast? He's like, yeah, that's it. And I'm like, oh, wow. Hey, I'm the host. I'm actually going to be doing it from the hotel room today. He's like, oh, that's so cool. Blah, blah, blah. He gave me an upgrade, so it was pretty awesome. So anyway.
Gave you an upgrade to a gun shop.
Yeah, it was like Daryl was his name, I think. Daryl or Darcy. I gotta go double check. But if you're watching,
Well,
buddy,
tell Connor happy birthday.
So you just shouted at
Yeah.
a listener who you know listens to the show and you didn't remember his name.
it's
That's as bad as saying
No
that
more
Mikey,
deals
that's as
for
bad
you.
as saying that
Shout
Mikey's
out
from
to
Tulsa.
Bob or Gene or Doug or some guy.
Oh, his name's Daryl from Yorkton, eh? He's just down at the Holiday Inn there, don't you know?
Yeah, Mike from Canmore.
Yeah, there that was. But the point of that was that he watched or listened to an episode of the show and bought some kick-ass coffee about it. So anyway, so they are one of our sponsors. So for world-class specialty coffee from world-class Canadian Forces veterans, go to www.boltactioncoffee.com. Order up some coffee for any occasion, and while you're there, check out a great line of apparel, mugs, stickers, and patches. Help support great veterans organizations as well as this show. And check out use code FIRSTFocalPlane for 10% off your order, just like Buddy down in the foyer there. Doing so directly supports the show. So,
Mhm.
mm-hmm.
Does that mean it's my turn?
It's somebody's turn. I
Oh.
don't think it's mine.
The show tonight is also brought to you by Odell Engineering. They are the geniuses behind the Canuck line of firearms. Odell Engineering is your premium importer and distributor of some of Canada's top brands of firearms, including Bargara, Rock Island Armory, Mission First Tactical, Hyperfire, and of course, the Made for Canada Canuck firearms. Find their products and a dealer carrying said products at OdellEngineeringLTD.com, on Facebook at Odell Engineering Ltd, or walk into your local gun store and tell them Phil sent you.
And he's watching.
Yeah. Woo-hoo!
He says,
Easy.
Hey, before we go too far into the show, I have to say something too. Listeners have I've mentioned it several times, going back to like May of last year. So people may be wondering, because I actually had somebody reach out to me and say, "Hey, whatever happened to your Maverick review? I'm thinking about buying a Maverick." You said like multiple times you were gonna review a Maverick. I am not going to review the Maverick. I have decided not to review that firearm.
Long story.
I'm going to keep it short though. So I had some issues with my Maverick, and then I had some issues with the second Maverick, and then I did not have issues with the third Maverick, but I put it up for sale very shortly after getting it. And the reason that I did that is because I think if I do a review, I feel like I have to be completely honest in the review. And there are great things about that rifle that I could do in a review and say amazing things about it. However, I had some pretty bad experiences. I had literally had to get 3 rifles. And if I say the good, I have to say the bad. and I don't want to do that. I don't want to do a negative review. So I've decided that I'm going. What is it? Discretion is the better part of valor, and I've decided that I will not be reviewing that firearm. But if anybody would like, my take on it, anyways, just like the gentleman who reached out to me today about it. I actually had 2 people reach out to me today about it. Then let me know, because I'll tell people what my experiences were, but I won't be doing a formal review. Boom, done.
Period.
All
Stop.
All right. Followed by uncomfortable silence. Where do we go?
That's why I'm hoping. That's why I'm hoping you guys will pick up the fucking ball. There's only 4 of you. Somebody can't pick up the ball and run.
So there's one time at band camp.
That's not
All
the
right.
story I was hoping to follow with.
Hey, you know what? Up next is the Apex Optics ad read. I was just wondering if Mikey wanted to do that, seeing he's the new shiny star.
Hey, there's a.
Do I have to introduce it? Like,
You got to text that over to him.
yeah,
Well,
pre-warning. I'd be
put it-
like, hey, Apex Optics, they're coming out with the scope's coming out.
If you don't
It's
use
really good.
Apex Optics, then fuck you.
All right,
Wait a
I
minute,
guess
like-
I'll do it.
Nobody is using Apex Optics right now because we haven't got them yet.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I've got one.
And I shot, and I had one for 2 months.
Well, la-di-da, Mr. Frenchman.
Don't call me French, bastard.
I'm not even on the team, and I have one.
Guys, we got to get through this show.
Okay, sorry.
Okay,
Carry
fine.
on.
Do some
All
ads.
right. Apex Optics, designed in Canada, built in Japan. Made with premium ED glass and the best optical system money can buy. The Rival 432 competition rifle scope features super positive clicks, a 2-turn indicator, 0 stop, and one of the most thoroughly thought out reticles in the industry. No thanks to Mike. When you buy Apex,
Well, thanks.
precision comes standard. It doesn't come with Mike. ApexOptics.co.
That strangely made sense.
It's true.
I'm not sure how.
Oh my God.
And the silence fills the room.
And awkward silence now. So, what have you guys been up to?
Well, let's set the scene here first. So Shane and Mikey are whose house are you guys at?
My place, yeah.
You guys are at Shane's place. You're having a sleepover.
That's,
100%.
yeah. You know what? This is team building, and we would prefer no judgment, guys. Come on.
It's
You
2022.
prefer
Yeah.
that, but
That,
you're
that
not
train
really
has
getting it.
sailed. Yeah, we should just
Especially
move
with
on.
Kurt and Jens's uncomfortable relationship. You guys can shut the fuck up over there.
Yeah.
No, it's
You know,
It's funny.
it is very hetero. If nothing else, it is extremely hetero.
yeah,
If
that's
nothing
exactly
else.
how it's always described, Kurt. But no,
That's
so
why
Alright, we
Jens
just
put a
find it,
mattress
yeah.
in his truck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. We just can't figure out who the big spoon is. So
Neither can
January
we, apparently.
Yeah, so my birthday was like 3 weeks ago, and Mike and Steph and their little boy all got COVID, so they couldn't come up and visit.
I'm still alive. I didn't die.
Weirdly, no
we can tell.
vaccine survived. And then my wife's birthday is next weekend, but it's also his brother's birthday. So we decided this was the weekend they'd pop up, hang out for a couple of days. You guys were down at SHOT Show, so you see all that the simulators and the cool stuff that they have there. Well, I spent 4 years down there dreaming about a simulator, and I didn't go this year, so I put a simulator in over Christmas. So we're gonna shoot some sim, hang out, take a look at some of these minis.
Play some Call of Duty.
Yeah, so it's just a relaxing weekend of us being able to hang out together. And
It's a play date.
talking to Sean this morning, you guys didn't have any guests, so you're scraping bottom of the barrel.
I noticed you guys
I
didn't
am
say
just
that
above
you're
the
on
bottom of the
Halifax.
barrel.
I'm the bottom. Yeah.
Did you all hear that?
Bottom of the bug, man.
Yeah, we got it. Yeah, we understand.
Yeah. So no, figured that, yeah. We're just and honestly, beginning of the season now, this is kind of the time where we take and we start to coordinate out our team, start to take a look at all the shoots we have, book our schedules, fix your guys' match schedule because it's not right.
Yeah. Did
Yeah.
you modify
What's-
that for me? And
What's wrong with
send
our
it
match
back?
schedule?
That'll be tomorrow, yeah. But it's on our list of to-dos.
Okay.
So we're
great.
taking a look at the ELR practices, book some schedules there. I mean, we'll have a couple there to coordinate with you guys as well. Steve was hanging out with Ben Click here today, scheduling up some more ELR training. We'll book the ELR camps. I got to do another announcement for 2022 as to who our shooting team is. It's more than just Mikey.
Because I would just not rep.
Yeah. Technically, Kurt's one of those too.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Wow. When was I going to find out about this?
Yeah.
Oh, crap.
And then we got to coordinate the PRS stuff, which is usually me, because Shane's like, it's in April. I'm like, no, it's in May.
That's right.
But it's in July. No, that one's in August. And so I just I maintain that. I walked in today and Carrie was talking about the schedule. And I'm just like, oh yeah, we got 2 in June, we got 1 in August, probably 1 in July. And she's like, why doesn't Shane know any of this stuff? I'm like, well, it's because he relies on me.
Yeah, I order jerseys and that's about it.
All right, maybe Mikey and I should have a phone conversation then about schedule instead of
possibly.
Well, and after 2 years of COVID, we're all having to order extra a size up on all our jerseys.
Yeah,
I don't know what you're talking about.
I know, right?
Yeah, we got little quados coming out of our stomach eating a pizza.
Oh yeah.
Kurt doesn't get that reference. Sean knows exactly.
I definitely understood exactly what that reference was.
100%.
And Kurt said, Sean, what is a quado?
What's a quado?
And then he's going to say Total Recall, and Kurt's going to go, what's Total Recall?
I just assumed a quado was something like docking with 4 guys.
Oh,
No,
you're into something that we don't even know.
Yeah.
You know what?
Got a dark side.
Yeah,
I think.
himself.
Hold on, we got to give Kurt credit here because that was an excellent understanding of the quad. You know, at least he came up with something that made sense.
It's true.
Way to make me sound like a complete retard.
Well, even if you did,
I appreciate that.
Even if you did immediately, your mind clicked immediately to some sort of weird sex maneuver. But
but Kurt was around when they went from trikes to quads, so he knows the difference.
Absolutely, I was. Yeah.
He was around when Schwarzenegger was doing Total Recall. He doesn't know that.
I have
Sean's like, what's a trike?
One of the best death machines ever invented. It's glorious.
I own one actually, too. But anyway.
Yeah, so that's kind of what we've been up to. I mean, I think you guys probably saw on Insta there, we posted up a gun yesterday, the day before. We got a pile of 33 XCs coming out for this year's ELR season. So I got 1 here being picked up tomorrow, and then Steve's got 4. Well, one's a 37 XC, but then we got a bunch of 33 XCs all leaving the shop here this week.
They're pigs. They're awesome, but they're pigs.
Yeah, they're pretty sweet.
Wait on that XC, that one that you
shit. That one.
This one's not much different than mine, so I would put it at probably 24 pounds before optic.
Yeah.
This one's on a Kestrel, so the stock's a little bit longer, a little bit heavier, and the barrel's 32 inches. So a little longer than mine, but it's the same contour. So mine comes in at 24 pounds. Oh, this one's probably 26 and a half pounds plus optic.
Yeah, I think mine's 25.
Yeah.
And then the scope on top of that and bipod. So
yeah.
Cool. Yeah, they're lunkers for sure.
Yeah.
No, and the McMillan Kestros is working out really well on these builds. It fits these profiles really nicely.
Groovy. You see that? You should play that video, Chris, that you did. I shot that thing of mine offhand once.
Shut up.
I did. I didn't hit anything.
Holy crap.
Well, you hit something. It just wasn't what you were.
Yeah, right. The neighbor seems angry at me lately. Yeah. I don't know why.
Yeah, no kidding.
But yeah, it's a pig.
Yeah. Well, I see Jens has gotten into the fabrication world, and he's built an extended bipod on a, what is that, 2-inch HSS structural steel?
Yeah, 1.5 inches or something like that. Yeah.
But
you know what, man, it makes a difference.
Oh yeah. Well, I've been looking at
bipod out there.
Yeah, I've been looking at the bipod EXTs, and it seems like these guns are sort of halfway between 2 of their models. They got that like a $400 US model for 25-pound guns and 330 of the Puas, and then all of a sudden it's like $900 US for their 50 PMG model.
Yeah.
And I think it makes a lot of sense. but I don't know of any Canadian dealers yet. And I mean, that's like $1,500 Canadian by the time they get here. But I think I need one.
Yeah. What were we just talking about? It's like caviar dreams and
Yep. Yeah. Beer budget with wine taste.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, what sort of an edge do you think that would give you in the long run, though?
Well,
honestly,
being that I still don't know how to use my Kestrel right, I don't think the bipod's helping.
Yeah.
And being that you let Yenzi call left instead of right because he wanted to score better than you.
You know what? You got to have faith in your team, man. Got to have faith in your team.
Well, he kind of let you down.
Follow blindly.
Yeah, I just kept hearing that 9 in the background, and I was like, I don't think Yenzi's helping.
I didn't know whether you were saying no or 9 left.
That's right.
Yeah, no numbers.
I'm gonna start getting messages on my phone here real quick from Yenzi with death threats.
Yeah.
He never threatens.
No.
He just kind of throws it out there and it makes you think that. Now, was that a joke, or is he actually digging my grave right now?
Yeah. All you hear is the splash.
If you hear it, it wasn't meant for you.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, guys, what are some of the matches you're planning on attending this year?
So for PRS, Saprol will be the first or 2 that we're doing. So down in Medicine Hat, and those ones are at the beginning of June and the end of June. Right. And then Colton out of Saskatchewan he ran his first match last year. It was a phenomenal match.
Yeah.
Good setting, much like the guys in Medicine Hat, just beautiful backdrops. And so he will be running 1 guaranteed, 2 it would be nice, but I don't think he's running 2. And then as much as we want to go down to the States, you just still don't know what's going on with the border. So we'll be doing some club matches probably. Like I'll probably be hitting most of the Milo ones down south of Calgary. They usually do 3 or 4 a year. And then there's also the Wild Rose ones just up here in Edmonton, Genesee area. And they do 1 a month.
I think they have 6, Steve was saying, on the schedule right now. So see how many of those I can sneak out to. I know Scotty Chichel there has that Mooseman. Fucking names. If he has a 2-day, I'll make the drive to get out there. And then we're still waiting on confirmation on what the sharpshooter is. I don't know what that schedule looks like or where it's going to be. They're still trying to coordinate and book that out. But hopefully we're still going to have that.
Yeah.
So they are still trying to go ahead with it rather than just outright cancel, or what?
Well,
or do you know?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Like, there's been discussions and talks as to what that schedule looks like. So there's just no confirmation. It's not scheduled yet.
Mm-hmm.
And then that NRL match that was happening out in Cranbrook, from my understanding, it's not being booked this year. Or they're looking for a new venue. Yeah. So I'm not sure what's going on with that.
Yeah, it didn't happen last year, and we haven't heard anything about it this year. So
okay. Yeah. So
you know
I think
what?
there's going to be probably a half a dozen good matches, like good 2 days.
Right.
And then we'll sneak in a couple of club level matches. And then obviously we got the King of 2 Miles. We're going to plan to go to the ELR camp over at Furlongs there the week before. To come in a little bit more prepared this year. And then get in a bunch of training time in between then and get out for some shoots around the province there to get with our different team members and get some time in.
Yeah, we're trying to find a spot around here that that will accommodate practice like that rather than having to go out there all the time. You guys can come see some of this beautiful part of the world.
Yeah, flat and windy.
Yeah, it just all looks the same.
Come on.
It's like Colton's is the only nice place in Saskatchewan.
You ain't seen nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
What the hell was I going to say? NRL. What do you guys know about that? I keep meaning to look into it. Kind of the general requirements of that. The differences between NRL and
2 different organizations. Like
that's it. But the NRL Hunter, Like there's a
The
weight
NRL
limit.
Hunter is totally different setup. It's hunting rifles.
It's based like I haven't shot it, but like so Ryan McLean over at MDT, like we built some rifles for him. He's shooting the NRL down in the States this year. My basic understanding is there's a power factor and a weight limit, but otherwise, I think they shoot animal shaped plates.
Animal steel,
Right.
But
Yeah.
beyond that, it's pretty much just a positional shoot, the same sort of thing. I think Ryan said it's a 12-pound weight limit because we're already looking at like his carbon barrel showed up a couple days ago. We're going to chamber that up, and then they've got weight times velocity to meet a minimum power factor. So instead of guys shooting 6 mils, most guys are shooting the 6.5s and 7s and the PRCs. Yeah. So beyond that, it's not quite as gamey because you do have to meet a power factor, and then your guns are a solid 30% lighter, so you're managing and dealing with a little bit more recoil. 18 pounds down to 12 pounds is 30%.
Speak for yourself. I'm like almost 22.
Oh yeah,
They're gonna make out.
I
You
deny
let them
math.
have a domestic and we'll just chat until they're done.
You know what? Domestics keep relationships going because communication happens during a domestic as long as
Minor domestics. Yeah.
Oh.
Not-
it's the spice of the relationship there, boys. Yeah. So I mean, that seems to be the extent of it. I think it would be really cool to see up here, but at the same point, I mean, we're still growing regular club level matches, let alone getting into divisional stuff. So, I mean, anything we could have, I mean, it would be awesome to be able to get some standard NRL matches, let alone Hunter. But
shoot and shoot. But
yeah, like we just sponsored a match out in Manitoba. Zach Price there is running the MDT Rifleman's Team Challenge,
Right.
which I think is awesome. That's something that Steve and I have always been interested in. Like back in the day, like Mikey and I have been shooting now for 10, 12 years.
Yeah,
Mike and
2008.
his first bromance that he broke up with for me used to shoot team challenges all the time, right?
Who said we broke up? It's like polyamory.
You did.
Steve and I used to shoot team challenges. Kurt used to go out and do that type of stuff. Like that was where a lot of these precision shooters came from before there was organized leagues. Were always kind of team shoots. So I really, like I'm really drawn to that type of a match event. So it's too bad Manitoba is so far away, but I know there's been a couple of guys out here who've discussed that format. So it would be awesome to see those types of shoots starting up here in West Canada. So hopefully we'll start to see that evolution coming as well, because it's a little bit more field condition.
Yeah, the team challenge, basically what's the difference with it? It's like you shoot, obviously you
Shooter
shoot
spotter,
team, right?
reverse, or
yeah,
you shoot this half, your partner shoots the other half, kind of thing. So,
and is it a large course, or is it just kind of all in the same line, like what they do with PRS with different?
It's more like Sniper's Hide Cup. Like if you go look at the Sniper's Hide Cup, it's your shooting partner, and you go to your stages, and your stages are a little bit more creative, raw, and then it's like, you're still under time. Like you and your teammate have 4 minutes to spot 3 targets, range 3 targets. You each have to fire this many rounds and go off of there. So it's a little bit more, work with your team. So
right.
Years ago, there was a group of guys out of Drayton Valley that used to run the Landy Tactical Shoot before anybody even uttered PRS. And it was a team shoot where 2 guys had to shoot together, and it was awesome. It was invitational only. The guys used to hit absolute home runs of matches. And I shot it. I got invited one of the last years they ever ran it, and I shot it with Billy Bell. And I hope he's listening, because he screwed me so bad on that shoot. But it was so much fun because it's not just your performance. You got to support your team member. You got to build it up. And honestly, if you're a good buddy with the guy you're shooting with, it can be a ton of fun when you really shit the bed with your partner.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
There's just so much more pressure, and it can be a ton of fun. Like I remember shooting on a floating platform, and both of us were on it shooting 6x47s.
Oh.
And you're like cycling your bolt. Like if you didn't pay attention and you cycled your bolt while the other guy was shooting, you'd be screaming at each other. And I remember shooting it with Bob Chaff and Bill Newton, and these guys were 2 retired police TAC team guys. It was like a religious experience watching them communicate with each other and shoot. And they were shooting 308s on this floating platform, so tons of recoil comparatively.
Right.
And then they were amazing to watch. It was something that I really looked up to because this is going back like my first 2 or 3 years shooting, right?
Mhm.
And it gave me something to think about and work towards. So that's something that we've kind of lost out on in Canada, where we just don't see that type of stuff. So I'm hoping it's something that comes back again, right?
Mm-hmm. That Got Your Six match, that was a different one
I
from
was
that.
just going to say, Got Your Six was
Right.
different match, but very similar in that team aspect.
Yeah.
Like I
Okay.
remember one of the stages, they had you out at Edson in the shoot house, and my other buddy was on the far left side. I was over here, and they gave us little handheld radios.
Oh,
And
no
that's
kidding.
how you each took your turn shooting. You were on a time limit,
Right.
but you had to communicate through the radio.
That's awesome.
So it's much more. You can't just sit there and yabber in your buddy's ear. It was literally like.
Did you have to do that after?
You have to do
every time you let the key go. Okay.
Yeah,
And you can't
Just wanted to
shoot till you
clarify.
say over and out or something like that.
exactly. You didn't say out.
So there's
Procedural, yeah.
there have been rumors for the last couple of years that they were going to start that back up again. Have you heard anything this year or lately?
Probably the same
Again.
rumors that you
Yeah.
have. Like I'm still on the pages and I follow it,
Mm-hmm.
but nothing's really come of it yet. Every now and then you'll get a stay tuned for announcements or
Right. Yeah.
it'd be nice if it happened, but
Yeah. That would be good for sure.
because it was a fun shoot. It was a good time to get out. Not a lot of stress. Everybody, as competitive as we all are, it's still the same stuff. We had fun.
Mhm.
Pig roast. It was good.
Yeah. No doubt. Maybe it's time to bring back the old poker alley.
Ooh, yeah. That was a lot of fun. I mean, there wasn't a
That was a
pile of
hell of a
shooting.
good time.
That's
Yeah.
where me and Rooster met.
Actually,
No.
that
That's wrong.
was where me and Rooster met.
Where did we meet?
That's right. No, we met down south of Calgary. What the hell was that place?
Haber? No.
Fort McLeod.
No. When you had your 6 competition match, you and Rich were down there.
No,
And Rich-
I had my 6 mil Crusader, my hot rod, and I'm trying to remember.
Was it?
Longview at
That's it. Yeah,
Wade Delamere's
that's right.
place when tactical teacher came and ran the thing.
It ran a thing. Yes, let's
Yeah.
leave it at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, Kurt was one of my online mentor resources when I built my first 284. And then we ran into each other at the poker alley that Steve and I ran.
Right.
And then we figured out who the rooster was from CGM.
Yeah. Identity revealed.
It was, what was it? It was 284 Rooster, right?
No. 358 Rooster. Because when I joined CGN, I was enamored with my 358 Norma.
Ah,
And I didn't know what the hell to put on there. So
Yeah.
358 Rooster.
no. And I remember we both had 284s at that first poker rally.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
sold that 284 to start our company.
That's right. I forgot about that. I should shoot a match with that 358 Norma. That'd be great.
Jesus.
Oh, that's the Canadian sharpshooter, the guy with a friggin' 300 Norma on the line, and they're like, steal down, first shot.
Who was that?
I don't know who it was, but he got to use the loaner gun
Yeah.
I
with
heard
the
about
Apex.
that.
with the Apex.
Oh, that's right. Okay, maybe.
But yeah, it was
that's probably
literally
where I
first
heard it
round.
from. Was Van
Target
yeah.
down.
Yeah. Well, that was a gun that everybody, like MDT, IBI, Trigger Tech, everybody worked with us supplying parts so we could put a gun together to take to matches. And Apex gave us, like, we still have it. It's one of the pre-production models in MOA.
Right.
Ugh, I feel dirty. And I literally put 10 rounds through it. We zeroed it. That gun,
Right.
what?
Chris, he's still a minute of angle guy.
That's okay. He'll grow out of that.
That's right.
I think
And
there's a drug for that, Chris.
Yeah.
Kind of cures that. Anyway,
Yalis?
Are you comparing MMA to erectile dysfunction right now?
Same thing.
I didn't.
Yeah.
Hey, it's
More or
okay, man.
less, yeah.
We're all friends here. We're here to support you through this, man. It's okay.
There's no shame in it.
Oh, I'm so lucky to have friends like that.
With friends like these, who needs enemies?
Yes.
that's right. Well, we took that gun, like I mounted up that Apex in the field.
On the line.
Yeah, I zeroed it in, I don't know, 12 or 14 rounds and put a 5-round group on paper at the sharpshooter. And
With Hornady match.
yeah, the 140 Hornady factory ammo.
Right.
And that thing shot in the 2s with no barrel break-in at all. Like those IBIs with those CNC honed barrels are absolutely disgusting. And that's very typical of the rifles to shoot like that. And yeah, that guy, he put we brought a case of ammo for it. He bought the ammo and shot that gun. And he shot the whole match. And we literally just put the velocity and created a dope card and off he went.
Right.
Yeah. Poor bastard had to shoot MOA.
I was gonna say he didn't win because Shane made the dope chart, but you know,
That's right.
you got to win any way you can, right?
That's right.
Well, that IBI barrel of mine on the 33XC, I think I got as far as 28 rounds or something stupid thing into load development. We had a practice, and then I went to King of 2 Miles. I had by the time I was done King of 2 Miles, I had 91 rounds on that barrel.
Yep. Yeah, you were a little pressed for time on that one, eh?
A little bit, yeah, a little bit. But it came together nice.
But the stock looked great.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Whatever, it worked.
There was no sarcasm there. I was saying it looked great.
Jeez, he didn't even have a chance to bed that thing yet.
I know.
No, that's right. Bedded it after.
Yeah.
I gotta retune that sucker this summer.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm gonna play with mine some more. Like I've only got 305 rounds on mine.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Yenzi's somewhere around 450 or some darn thing.
I'll
on
need a
his.
new barrel soon.
Well,
what's
especially
the
he's
life
running
on
them up.
those, I was gonna say.
Oh,
Like,
I'm not sure. What have you heard, Shane, for barrel life on those?
Honestly, like we're running 50 BMG, so I don't think it's gonna be too bad. And we're not driving them crazy hard. Like I'm hoping 800 rounds on mine. When I start approaching 7, if we aren't past the King of 2 Miles, I'll pull mine and I'll get that second barrel ready. Like I already have my second barrel on the shelf.
Yeah.
So that's one of those things. Like Steve's snipe tack, again, he's running 11 grains more powder, but he's getting the same speed as us.
Right.
He burnt his last one out at 700 rounds.
Yeah, that's right too. Yeah.
So
I got a ways to go, especially if I only run 6 rounds in King of 2 Miles.
that's right. But
Nine.
I didn't
Nice.
get 9.
Right.
I just got an email back. Another one of the KO2M guys. We did his 338 enabler. He just broke 900 rounds with it.
Oh.
And he said it's still holding half minute. He figures he's going to get 1200, but that's going to push him past 1200 for the ELR camp.
is
So
that
he's getting
miles?
the second barrel ready. And I'm like, that's way more than I thought off of an enabler. I thought he'd be falling apart already. So who knows? Maybe just not driving it that hard.
Right. Did he say what velocity he's running?
I think he said he's approaching 33 with the burgers.
Holy smokes.
Shit.
So
Yeah, well-
I got to check with him again and see. He's from out east. So, but I thought he said he was between 32 and 33. And he said he wasn't going easy on it. So
Right.
I don't know. Like we redid a Cadex Tremor, CDX 40 for him. Because it was originally in a 408 or whatever that got prohibited. So we pulled the barrel and did something legal for him. Bullshit.
Nice. Yeah, I think Jens is running, well, during testing, we had him up well over 3,300 feet per second. I think he's got a 34-inch barrel on that sucker.
Yeah, Yenzi's getting exactly 100 feet per second more than me off of the exact same powder charge.
Oh, is that right? And
Yeah.
you're running 3,080 or something?
I'm running 3180. He's
31.
got 3280 something.
Right.
And we're both running 126 grains of 50 BMG. I run A-tips. He runs burgers.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm at 3185, I guess, is where I'm at with the 300 burgers.
You know what? Almost everybody, like even this fella coming to pick up this one, we did a 33XC on a Seiko TRG for him.
Yeah.
Same barrel, same chamber, same twist rates. And he ended up at the exact same powder charge and running what did you say? Yeah, 3180. Yeah, with the burgers. So they all seem to settle in. And that was off a 30-inch barrel. So this one's 32 on his next one.
Right. Oh,
And he went to a Helix on this one.
okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so this is a full build. Like that TRG action is just a little bit small. Like they got a smaller tenon, smaller action diameter. So the barrel itself was a little smaller. So this one we went to the same 1.35 down to 1.3. Same as we do on all our boomers.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you suppose we're going to see at King of 2 Mile this year for competitors, like number of competitors? You think it'll grow again?
Depends if the border opens or not.
Yeah, that's
If they open the border, I think, you see, well, we're going to see some of the same people, of course.
a lot of the same people, I think.
Especially when you invest that much in kit and stuff like that. But then it's a matter of if the border opens, well, then we might see, another 30% more guys out there.
Yeah.
So, and it was a fun weekend.
Yeah, like I've been talking to Cal. He's got another barrel coming and he's going to do it up. Like he's looking to escape Canada, but I think he'll shoot it. Like obviously that other fellow, he's going to come again. Like I think a lot of the same guys will all be out there. Like Mike says, if the border opens up, I think we'll see some of the points chasers come up for it.
Oh yeah.
But I think we're going to see a few more enablers. I know that KDEX has been pushing really hard on the enabler. I think they've been pushing against the XC. There was some commentary that come out of them today saying that the 37 XC is illegal. I'm like, it's the exact same speed as the 375.
Right.
So if the 375 is legal, the 37 is legal, right? Like they prohibited the Shytac by name, and they're saying capable of 10,000 joules. Like that's so gray. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, right?
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
I think it's really up to the shooter at this point to determine whether they want to jump into the 37 and whether they're going to load it to those limits. But again, when we do the cost economics and 3,000 meters, a 338 is significantly more economical in Canada to shoot and to practice with. Yeah. And from a ballistic advantage standpoint, you're not really gaining a whole pile on a 375 solid until you get past 2,500. And even the Furlong boys, you talk to those guys, they're really seeing the 300 Normas and the 300 PRCs shining out to 2,000 and 2,500. And we all know it was won the first day. One target was hit on the second day, and Cal had all his points on day one.
Right. Yep.
So
for sure.
I think right now the solid investment for guys going out there is still the big 338s and practice.
I've got a PRC.
Oh, ballistic. You know what? Me and Mike run our dope side by side, and until I'm breaking 2,200, I've got virtually no advantage, and I've got significantly more recoil, and my butt puckers every time I pull the trigger because the dollar signs are chinging in my head.
You're at what, 127 grains of powder?
126 grains of powder, and every A-tip costs me $1.65.
And I'm shooting 81.3 grains of powder. And my A-tips are a little bit cheaper.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah, good for you.
Kurt's like, son of a bitch, why didn't I build a 300 Norma?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah. There's something to be said for a cartridge that doesn't fit in your hand.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, there is.
It's the only thing Kurt can say that about.
Spudman comes up with this. We've talked about this before a little bit, but he says, I'm trying to remember, but I read an article that they're working on a new barrel steel that will extend barrel life up to 50%. Now that was
Bartland.
That's
right.
Bartland's MV700.
Yeah.
So,
I'm still curious to see what that's like on machine tooling and stuff like that, because it's got to be the only way you get 50% better barrel life out of something is if you have harder material. And,
and to be fair, they charge 50% more money for the blank.
Yeah.
So instead of $400 or $345 US, there's a $200 US increase on that blank.
Yeah. And
my understanding, I may be wrong. I'm sure somebody from Bartland is going to jump on and tell me, but I'm pretty sure they're only 2 Rockwell harder. So,
is that right?
That's the spec that I've heard. I mean, we don't really deal with Bartland. They're a great barrel. I'm not going to say they're not, but their lead times, their supply chain, they're very difficult to deal with. They don't sign NAFTA agreements. Well, now it's CUMSA. So you end up having to pay duty on an American product, which just further drives up the cost. And quite frankly, and I'll say it, and hopefully Ryan Stacy hears me, I'll put an IBI against a Bartlett or a Krieger any day of the week, and someone's going to make fun of you. I don't give a shit. And we'll put our guarantee behind it. So I'll support Canadian industry any day of the week. We're not going to sacrifice quality for the product. And I have a tough time believing that those barrels are going to last that much longer. But until there's empirical data, maybe
that's the thing. 2% harder barrel, I cannot see equating to 50% longer barrel life. 4 points more hardness on the Rockwell scale isn't that much. IBI is as good as anything out there, in my humble personal opinion.
Yeah.
Like, they've been getting good reviews all over the place. Hey,
we do about 90 to 100 IBIs a year. All of our PRS guns are on IBI.
But my next one will be.
Yeah, my F class rifle I've ordered an IBI for. We do choose KS arms for our boomers, and that's because we can get oversized shank, we can get gain twists, we can get different lands and grooves. And I'm not saying the IBIs are better than KS or the KS are better than IBI. It just leaves us some flexibility. But we've gotten really excellent support from IBI, and they've just been very consistent. Lead times are good. I mean, both barrel companies are Canadian. I mean, actually, you know what? It's funny because we do have a lot of fantastic barrel makers in Canada.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard good things about JC out east. The KS are good. Ron Smith has made good barrels. I actually shoot a jury on my 25 Creedmoor because the 257s, IBI doesn't offer one yet.
Right.
We're working on that. But like jury makes great barrels too. I mean, it's just IBI service, their customer support, their investment into the community. I mean, there's a lot of reasons to go with IBI.
Well,
Ron Smith is still making barrels, hey?
Yeah.
I can't believe that. I talked to him about 12 years ago when he was 80 years old at that time.
Yeah. Well, I think his grandson's doing a lot of the work now from what I've heard.
Yeah.
But because like he doesn't do credit card, he doesn't do e-transfers and things like that. Like you can't email him for an order. So when we're dealing with the volume that we deal with, it just doesn't make sense for our supply chain. Yeah. Not to knock the barrel. Like it's nothing to do with the quality. It's just some of it has to be easy for my job.
Yeah, for sure. James Kopak is asking, would KG bore polish extend life? Now, I don't know what you guys think about that, but I've heard, read on some of the bench rest forums and stuff like that there's a lot of guys that think that your barrel's not burnt out, it just needs a good scrubbing. And I don't know, personally, I think your trouble comes from your throat, that throat erosion, that fire cracking, all that kind of stuff. You're going to get that no matter what, and that's not a cleaning issue.
There's I guess two aspects to that. So using bore paste on every cleaning can prematurely wear your barrel and your throat. Yeah. So again, going too far left or right is always a problem, right? But at the same token, and actually Ryan Stacy put up a really interesting article the other day about guys will think their barrels are shot prematurely because they've got a really severe carbon buildup or a donut, like the carbon ring. Yeah. So he and a lot of the bench rest guys will use CLR to break that down, because there's been times where you can throw a reamer in and you can't cut that carbon ring out without dissolving it properly. So there's a few cartridges that are prone to developing carbon rings just because of the throat geometry and shoulder geometry, the dasher. So guys will think that they're burnt out because they're having erratic ESs and SDs and pressures and things like that, when really they just need a good scrubbing. So like I say, it's not, don't bore paste your barrel every cleaning. And I mean, bench rest is different than F class, is different than PRS. In our PRS guns, I know that my 25 Creedmoor and my wife's 6XC, they get cleaned every 500 to 550 rounds with RL16. That's roughly where we see erratic velocities. And then roughly every 1,000, they need a really good CLR donut cleanup or carbon ring cleanup. Carbon ring, yeah. My 300 PRCE before Mikey got it, it was more like 120, 150 rounds, and it needed a good scrub before The ESs started to get all over the place. That goddamn XC, it's more like every 50 rounds. So each one performs a bit different. But when you get into the bench rest world or the F-class world, they're clean to bare steel almost every relay, because that way they see more consistent ESs and SDs all the time versus layering their barrel, where we'll foul our barrel with 20 rounds and then we're going to shoot for 500 rounds because we shoot a 250 round match, and we can't be pissing around halfway through the match and then resetting our zeros and resetting our ESs, right? So it really is about the sport you're doing and what you're trying to drive at. And frankly, a lot of guys will chase these quarter minute 8 foot per second ESs in PRS, and then they'll sit in a 2-minute wobble position and wonder why they're missing.
That's chasing your tail bad.
Yeah.
That you got a half to 3/4 minute gun in PRS. Like, yeah, most of our guns, if you vice this stuff up, they'll outshoot us all day long. But we're not chasing F class or bench rest in any way, shape, or form, because again, it's the most infamous friggin' stage is here's a T-post pounded into the ground and stick your rifle on top of it and then try and hit your target. Like,
well, and that's the thing. If you had hit an edge of a target, that's a point.
It's a hit,
right?
Versus
F class or bench rest, where you're trying to get the center of that damn target.
How many X's do you get?
Every time. Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
So it just doesn't matter quite so much, and I think a lot of guys get caught up on that. Like Scott Satterley's 10-round load development method or whatever gets a lot of flack. Because it's the same thing as a 3-shot group versus a 5-shot group versus a 10-shot group, right? Everybody argues about that, or not everybody, but there's some guys that continually argue about that shit, that it's not valid. And the 10-shot load development method is no goddamn good, because it doesn't give you enough data. Well, what's your game though? Like if you're shooting at a 2-minute target all the time, how refined do you really need to be? Versus, what do you value barrel life at and time for load development? And all
and even from statistical analysis, how many guys can shoot a 10-round group consistently?
Right.
Like,
I always shoot a really good 9-round, and that 10th round is a son of a bitch.
Yeah. Well, and I'd like to think I'm a fairly experienced shooter, but even when it gets down to shooting repeat 5-round groups, the focus, the discipline, like, it starts to get difficult, right? So
for sure,
you got to recognize your own limitations as well, and not constantly be blaming the gear.
Yeah, and what are you doing? Like, your chosen game, you are not sitting down looking at a piece of paper trying to get it all in one hole. You're trying to hit a piece of steel way the heck out there. Any spot on that steel is good enough.
Yeah. Well, like with my ELR gun, and again, some of it is cost driven. But when I load developed it at 800 meters over at Genesee, and I took that out and I shot 2 consecutive 3-round groups, letting the barrel settle, and both of them shot 0.66 and 0.67. And I was like, you know what? It ain't sub half minute, but I know I can't drive that gun any better, and it had an 8 foot per second ES. That will do.
No kidding.
So that was the load I ran.
Yeah. I think I got down to 18 feet ES with my 33, and that's where I called it quits and went to practice. So good enough. I've always said, for the games that we tend to play, anytime you get in under 20 foot extreme spread, just go shoot.
ELR is probably more like under 10, but you're right. PRS, if you're under 20, send it.
Oh, there's still guys. There's still guys, and like Phil Vallejo out of the States, and he won the PRS
shooting factory.
He was shooting factory Hornady, and you know what? The stuff shoots. They've had some batches where they were a little like extreme. Like Shane had one batch with the 300 PRC. There was 100
popping primers.
Yeah.
So I blew 37 primers and I got 3rd place in the King of 2 Miles.
Yeah, but that was
a long time ago though.
Yeah, I had a 6 mil Creedmoor batch that I got, and I was shooting it in my Stag 10 before that became illegal, and you know, it shot almost as good as my bolt gun. I had my friggin' competition rifle, and I shot like a 0.31 inch group, and then I shot a 0.36 with this one, and I'm like,
Right.
you know, sometimes it'll just shoot. So the factory ammo that's out there is great, and for what we're doing in the PRS world, we're just prima donnas. That's just what it comes down to. I'm a friggin' gun snob. I take my mini,
I'm glad to
which
hear
is my
you say
friggin'
that.
truck gun, and I'm like, okay, I got my lab radar. I'm sitting on my tripod, and I'm proned out, and I want to get a nice hat. It's a friggin' truck gun.
How's my hair? How's my hair?
It's 100%. I'm a gun snob. I know it, and I'm okay with it.
Oh my god, dude, it was so funny because like I took that. Well, and actually, like I haven't heard a word out of Chris. I can't see him because so funny. We have my cell phone set up on my Leah Photo PRS tripod in a gun pod
Clamp.
Yeah, so we're using it for PRS purposes right now.
Yeah,
Right.
But
right.
it's covering Chris's head up, so I'm not sure if he fell asleep.
All we see is the ball top.
And I'm like, this poor bastard is just like, why do we have these guys on where I'm not included?
Well, we're going to get to
turn the
that. We're
light
going to
on.
talk about the minis.
Well, and that's kind of what I was interested in because he's the one who did the review and tested the mini out and shot it. But like, we sent Mikey his, and he spends days load developing this thing. And he's at a half a minute, and I'm like, what are you doing, Mike? He said, well, I got to get it down. Like, I'm sure this thing will do a quarter minute. I'm like, there's no buttstock on the thing. Like, what are you using for rear rest? I'm like, it ain't a precision rifle.
And I have a 1 to 8 power LPVO scope on it.
Yeah, and I'm like, calm the fuck down. So
Right.
Meanwhile, I was testing it with 223 in 1,000-round bulk.
yeah.
Right.
Well, and honestly, that's kind of how I saw it, right? Like, I go and dig into my ammo can, and I've got 69 grain SMKs loaded up over some Varget that I made 3-gun like 7 years ago. No idea what it is anymore. And I'm like, I don't know, let's try this.
Mm-hmm.
And it shot about 3/4, and I was happy. And then I've got some 62 grain green tip, and it actually shot half minute, and I was really happy.
Right. Yeah.
And then I put some Norinco in it, and it shot about 12 minutes. And I was like, wow, that's not good. Not good at all. But it was Norinco, so I'm like, I have no...
kind of expected.
Yeah, it didn't even all go off. And I was like, that's the problem.
Lucky you didn't blow up in your face.
Well, you know, that's not like wrong, but
Yeah.
but I was actually really impressed with it. So I gave it to my boy, like Malcolm's 10. We put a little cheater plate on it in a PRS bag, and I threw them on the barricades, and I just run like mine set up. Well, you had mine.
Yep.
Right? Like I've got mine set up with like just a 10 power optic on it.
It's 2.5 to 10.
Yeah. And he just ran holdovers, and he was able to hit torso-sized targets all the way to 500 with the 69 grains.
Right.
And I'm like, that's all I need it for. If it can hit an IPSC, that's what we built this thing for.
Yeah.
I'm like, the problem is being a precision rifle shop, guys are like, does it have the half-minute guarantee? And I'm like, it's a truck gun.
Yeah.
But they have been shooting, like, you can see the differences in our two setups. So here's mine all nice and collapsed. Let's see if it's Shane's face is in the way. So I've got a 1 to 8 power on it. I've got a little friggin' mag pull grip on it. I've got my friggin' Arca plate on it and stuff like that. And then
Does that scratch the
but I
hood of the
can't have
truck?
one, so it's a friggin' Gordon on it. And it's fun.
Or the mirror?
Exactly. It's my.
Wait a minute. Tell me, is that a linear compensator, or is it just
It's a
fake
surefire Warden, right? So
Okay,
let's see if I can actually get it off because it's got so much carbon in it already from all my load development. There it goes.
Look at
Yes,
those
we just
biceps.
clipped over his brake.
It clips over my muzzle brake.
Yeah.
Come on. If you can get it off.
He knows what he's doing.
I don't know what I'm
Yeah.
I love how all this is happening off camera too, so it's
Carbon.
it's
Oh, yeah,
riveting
it's
for our
doing my
audio
face up, so
listeners
now I
and
feel
for our
like-
video guys.
Yeah.
There it is.
Steph,
can't-
get the pipe
The
wrench.
best part is because he's talking the whole time, it cuts out their speaker, and he couldn't hear a goddamn thing we were saying the whole time.
Exactly. So I just got this 3-pronger on the front,
Right.
the war comp, and then this just friggin' slides over and
Oh, here we
Carbon
go
it up.
again in reverse.
yeah, in reverse. Don't do it.
Nice and simple, super
There you go.
fast. Totally modular.
I don't take it off a lot because it's cool.
This,
You know,
is,
but-
this is essential.
before you told me about the Arca rail, I was starting to think that you were kind of setting yours up more like a backpacking truck gun.
It's a
But then you said you
backpacking
put an
truck
Arca
gun,
rail
AR wannabe. They took away, not that
with an
exactly
Arca
I could
rail.
take my AR in my friggin' truck, but there was a lot of options out there that you could have, whether it be the ATRS or like the whatever. And then what else do we have out there? We had the Maccabee Defense. You had all these options coming out of like non-restricted style guns, and even my Stag 10, which I built in 6 Creedmoor, it's like, okay, they're paperweights now. And I'm like, well, I found JTAC online and I told Shade about him, and he said that's stupid. And then he started looking at it more. 100%. He's like, that's stupid. And I'm like, well, I like stupid things sometimes. And then he's like, you know what? That's pretty cool. And we just started spitballing information, and this is what we came up with, because it's like, I want a friggin' truck gun.
Yeah.
So I'll go out to the range that we practice at a guy named Kyle's place. He's got a quarter section, and we threw all my steel out there. And you can literally, with my 1-8, I'll just run it. You know, I did my load development, but then I just run it like an AR, and I'll run around and shoot steel, and it's just a bolt action, whatever. And it's like, it's fun.
Well,
I got to ask you,
Have
Mike,
you?
hold on a second.
Yeah.
Is your wife drunk right now?
My wife?
Has she been drinking?
Jesus, Stephanie says,
Wow, big hands, Constable. Friesen, boom, boom.
Jesus. That's all I got going for me.
Okay, so Mikey,
And
have you?
special constable.
Yeah.
Mikey or Shane, have either of you tried running the bolt fast on it?
Yep. Yeah.
How
That's
do you
all
like it?
when I'm running it.
It's a nice short throw.
Yeah.
Have you,
It's a mini action.
Oh, not like the.
Is it a mini
we were
action?
talking about.
Like, it's for a little bolt gun. Like the thing's smooth. So I got.
I found the same thing.
I have high rings on it, so my scope's out of the way. There's the camera. And yeah, like I said, I friggin' walked the field with it and just treated it like an AR playing with steel. And you know what? For a bolt gun, no, it's no semi-auto, but for a bolt gun, little truck gun, I'm like, I can run it just as good as, it's just as slick as my PRS one, like in the sense of how
That's
it
a
works.
great little rifle, man.
It's a great little rifle.
I found something similar. That it was quite smooth to be able to run real fast. Are you doing it Mad Minute style with your middle finger on the trigger? Or?
No, I'm not doing that shit. I'm still too PRS-y. I've got
Fucking
my
do
own
it.
grip on here with a friggin' thumb shelf. So it's
Just get over yourself and do it. It's fun.
yeah.
Well, Chris, when you did the interview, you said something that I thought was really well worded. Was it's a gun that needs to find a purpose. Yeah. And I thought it was well said, because it's kind of this in-between fun thing. It really is kind of a luxury purchase. Mm-hmm. But when we were talking about it, because I did say it was bullshit. I'm like, this is stupid. Like, what are you going to do with these little shorty barrels? But when we went through it,
get it in your hands. Fuck.
Yeah. Well, and when we went through it, I was like, you know what? Because like these straight pulls, which I find really annoying, the Maccabees, like all these other options are coming out. And all I see is that they're so close to the AR that I see them being targeted. And don't get me wrong, I went and bought a Kel-Tec right away because I said, fuck you. I'm going to go buy a non-restricted, come take it away. Right? If you don't know I have it, I'm just going to keep it.
Unless they watch the podcast.
Unless you're listening to this podcast.
Right. And you're done.
In which case I lost.
It's a rooster.
Yeah.
So you got what, like an RDB or something? Or an RFB? Or
the RDB. Yeah.
The RDB? Yeah.
So if you need something for a review, I already told Sean I would send it your way. I also have a PC.
You know what? I gave up on it. They took too long bringing it back into the country, and
Oh,
now
yeah.
I'm on the Canadian made.
I just think Sean just doesn't tell you stuff.
No,
but then we looked at these, and I'm like, you know what? I want something I can leave in my truck. I can keep the mag separately. I can have it readily available. I can transport it completely legally as a non-restricted. Mm-hmm. And being a bolt action, there's absolutely no reasonable way that they're going to be able to take it away. It takes 223 or 300 blackout. It takes the AR style cartridges with a 10-round magazine.
So this is 223 right now, and we got it kind of designed with a barrel nut system. And so here's a 300 blackout barrel that goes on this gun, and she swaps right out. And then if you have the larger bolt face, like the 7.62 by 39 bolt face, You can have 7.6239. You can have 6.5 Grendel or 6mm arc. And it's like a 5-minute swap as long as you got your gauges and a wrench.
I'm listening to Mikey, but I'm watching Shane.
What is that? You guys have to read
Okay.
that to us. I
Okay,
can't see
before
What
we
the
read
hell
that,
is he saying here?
before we read it to you, though, you have to know that when you do that, you kind of look like the old man who's trying to find the record button.
Yeah.
I know.
How do I turn it on? Frida! Anyway, Kyle
Don't worry,
saying,
Shane. I go through that every episode.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Kyle is saying, here's a fun fact. Shane was
Kyle
basically my
Warner.
first contact with a 3-gun. What did I say?
I can't hear you.
Say it one more time.
Hello, is this thing on?
Yes,
Can
it
you
is
hear me
now. Yes.
Jesus fucking Christ. All right. He says, here's a fun fact. Shane was basically my first contact into 3-gun, loaned me a pistol and an AR in order to shoot my first match. So special thanks to Shane for helping me get into the addiction. That's what he said.
You should
Well,
buy
that's
a
awesome.
mini then, dude.
Yeah, that's awesome. Actually, I do remember Kyle. That was years. That was
Right.
years ago. Yeah, Steve was actually kind of one of the founders of the 3-gun league and dragged me into it. Like Steve's been my mentor in the gun community for Jesus 14 years, and I met him at 3-gun was the first real thing. I started shooting 308, thinking long range, thinking 800 was long range. And when they closed the Genesee range on us, we lost our shirts on the long range. I started shooting 3-gun. And that's when I met like the whole circle that I kind of shoot with all these guys that are 15 years older than me. And they ran a real hillbilly 3-gun league. And Steve and the exec that I worked with back then basically took it and built a formalized league. And since then, the new executive that's been managing it the last, I don't know, 6 or 7 years has really taken the Chaz 3-gun to a really professional level. Like it's really grown. So yeah, I remember Kyle from years ago. That's awesome. Thanks, Kyle. Appreciate it. But yeah, so that was kind of like you say, like trying to find a purpose. That's kind of what it was. Is when I say shit hits the fan gun, that's kind of what I mean. Is I want something I can take all the time, but the fact that it shoots well and it's fun. It's my boy's first kind of entry into what he's going to shoot into PRS as a light little gun. It's not optimal, but I'm going to shoot the club level matches at Wild Rose with it.
We're going to try just for shits and giggles.
Yeah, because I don't care if I win or lose at a club level. It's about having some fun, going out, pissing around. It's a nice short drive. I'm not financially invested into it. So I'm going to go out. I'm going to throw a cheater plate on the Arca rail, and I'm going to go shoot 223 because 80% of their targets are under 500 meters. And I don't care if I win or lose. I'm going to go have some fun, and it's going to be some practical training for me.
And if you really want to get into it, like 6.5 Grendel, it's the same platform. It's the same 16.5-inch barrel. Like,
well, and that's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking about the Grendel when we were talking about it off air. Is with the ballistics of the Grendel versus the 223. I see, like, I don't see the 6.5 Grendel as a gun looking for a purpose. I think that like if I'm picking up one of those minis, I'm picking up the Grendel for sure.
Yeah,
I got one.
I just held it in my hand.
I hear a commitment.
I'll take 2.
I got 2.
We do have 2.
Do you have 2? Shit, I need 3.
Shit, I can see my bank account draining.
Yeah. Well, what I need is more time, because I actually that rifle specifically really does intrigue me in 6.5 Grendel. I just have committed all of our resources to other projects at the moment.
Well, and Sean and I were talking yesterday morning, whatever.
It was yesterday.
And one of the things too,
how do you know, Mikey?
Because that's when I found out about the show. Because Shane's, you sent me a link, and we're like, "Hey,
you guys won mine."
Here's the link for the show." And
I'm
then
just
Shane's
talking
like,
oh yeah. We were talking to Sean. It's like, what? Anyway.
Well, I was actually talking to him on the phone, and then he's like, "Oh, that guy Sean, the what's his face, is calling me about the show."
Yeah, that guy. Yeah,
no, he's like, Sean's calling, and I'm like, "Okay, go talk to him."
There you go. Anyway, guys, I got to roll. My family's coming back up. Shane, Mikey, good to see you. You guys have a good rest of the show.
Happy birthday to Connor.
Happy birthday to the
Have a good one, Sean.
Thanks, guys.
But, well, and me and Sean were talking, and some of the decisions that went into this mini, like, we are an MDT dealer. We do a lot of work with MDT and KDEX. So bringing in a product like JTAC was a weird decision for us because it's not something we typically do. There are some other competitive products on the market that are at different price points. So we were very conscious about how we designed and built this. We went with JTAC and we went with the upgraded collapsible buttstock because it allowed us to maintain a 16-inch barrel and still get down to 27 inches with the minimum legal length being 26.
Yeah.
We went that way because you can run a 223 in a 16-inch barrel. So when you're running like a BDC reticle, whether you're using a 1-8, a 1-6, the 1-10s, any of the LPVOs with the BDC reticles, they're designed based off of 16-inch barrels and those velocities for those calibers.
Sure. Yeah.
So the Blackout, the Grendel, not so much the 6-arc. I mean, that's not really prevalent yet.
No.
The 7.6239, like those reticles all exist for guys. So we wanted to take a look at what was on the market and make sure that we were putting the length into something that was practical. And the barrel produces more practicality than a fixed buttstock did for us.
Yeah.
So we there are some other builders out there right now that have like 6.5 Creedmoors, like standard sized actions and 12-inch barrels on 6.5 Creedmoors.
Yeah.
With an AR collapsible stock.
Which seems cool. But when you fire a Creedmoor in a 12-inch or 308 in a 12-inch barrel, Kurt's probably done it. There's a lot of unburnt powder coming out the end of that barrel.
Absolutely. Yep.
Your ESs are tough. Your
Not a
action
fan.
is a little tougher, and there's a lot of fire.
Yeah.
So we aimed for efficiency, and again, pairing it as that full package to what you would get out of that performance.
Yeah.
Well, and of course, with the 20, we wanted to be as legal as possible, but we also wanted to fit in a friggin', backpack in your truck or this, that. The stock mostly comes with the transport. As soon as you're shooting, it's not like you're doing building entry with this, like for frick's sakes, but it fits in a backpack that looks like a damn tennis racket bag. Like this is.
Yeah, you're talking about that gray one.
That's great.
Yeah, the little coffin bag.
And it's like, okay,
I call it the baby
fits
coffin.
it fits all the gear, and you can walk around with that. Nobody knows what it is unless they watch the show or they know anything about guns. But it's easy, it's compact, and then you have the benefits of a full 16-inch barrel. We don't have the benefits like JTAC specializes in, like 8-inch barrels, suppressors, all that shit. We live in Kazakhstan. We don't get that. So,
but something I've thought about a couple of times since we've had that rifle to test out, and you're right. I did make that comment that it's like it's a good gun looking for a purpose, and that the more I thought, because it's funny that you mentioned me saying that comment, because I've gone over that comment a number of times myself since I said it, and I kind of like almost came to the conclusion that it's not so much a rifle looking for a purpose as it is an all-purpose rifle.
Yeah.
That and I started thinking like what would it take if I wanted to turn that into more, if I wanted to specialize a little bit more in precision. Well, it's easy to put another barrel on it. What if I wanted it? There's just so many things with it that I could make minor adjustments and modifications to make it more of a specialized purpose. And maybe that's where I kind of started thinking, maybe that's where its niche really is that it's not a rifle looking for a purpose. It's an all-purpose rifle.
Yeah.
Well, the cool thing
there's a difference between those two things, right?
Yeah. Well, the cool thing is that IBI didn't offer anything for the Howa Minis before this, but because we ordered up a bulk volume, they were able to do up the programs to do the prefits for the Howa Minis. And then we had to design and work with, well, we didn't design it, but we spec'd out what we wanted for the barrel nuts. So they now have a program for Howa Mini barrel nuts. So I would think that down the road, like obviously our price point on these is a little bit more aggressive because we order them in bulk volumes.
Yeah.
But I would think that it would be something, I mean, I can't speak for them, but I would think, like you say, if you wanted to do a 20-inch or 24-inch, that we would be able to order them, maybe not at the price I provide them for in this package, but it wouldn't be terribly higher to get something in something else.
But the
right?
point
like, I know
it's available.
They do Howa prefits, but the Mini is very cool. And there's a lot of other calibers, like the 350 Legend was something that we had talked about doing, which is a really cool little brush caliber.
Spray wall.
Yeah, there's
There's 375 Raptor.
Correct me if I'm wrong here, just while you're thinking about the calibers. And you know, tell me.
I tried not to lean forward.
Sorry, there's a comment here from Beaverhead Billy. And
That's
Beaverhead,
Billy.
yeah, Billy
He's got
says killing beavers is the purpose.
Yeah, he's got one in 300 blackouts.
Oh, perfect. Well, yeah, Beaverhead Billy's going beaver
that'll
killing.
Probably do your beavers in, yeah.
What is it with guys with great beaver names on?
When we talk about the rifleman shooting challenge, and I told you about a shooting partner who fucks you over because he shits the bed.
Yeah.
Beaverhead Belly.
Beaverhead Belly.
Billy. Yeah. Beaverhead Belly. Yeah.
No, I like Belly. I like Belly better.
Yeah.
Doesn't Billy have a creek running through his yard?
Yeah.
Yeah,
he
that's
does.
what I thought.
But when you look at the all-purpose rifle thing,
He's going to comment back right away.
it's literally like, I have the 223. You can use that for plinking around, bulk ammo, whatever. I loaded up a crap load of my hand load, whatever. But then I'm not a huge hunter. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll hunt with one of my buddies because he's like, you want to go hunting? I'm like, yeah, sure. And I'm friggin' taking my match gun around. Like, I remember back in the day, I had my friggin' Accuracy International chassis, my 308,
Right.
blah, blah, blah. When I was shooting that 18-pound rifle hunting, I'm like, I need a hill to just sit on. But with this, I can literally swap over to the 300 blackout, put 110 grain, 120 grain Barnes TSX in it, and shoot a deer with it, because you can't shoot it with a 223, but you can shoot a deer with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. 200-300 meters.
And that's what I was thinking. Because correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, you're saying off air that right now it's difficult to be able to get different bolts without getting the whole action. But I mean, that's not going to be forever. I mean, as soon as you're able to get different bolts, would you be able to switch from 223 to 6.5 Grendel relatively easily too? Right? You just need two bolts.
Yeah, because they're barrel nut installs, you don't have to worry so much about the headspace because you're doing it all off of a gauge anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
yeah, swapping a bolt, worrying about those tolerances, like there isn't quite the risk as far as you would on like a fixed shouldered barrel. So yeah, like if Legacy Sports, like if Howa ever makes them available to just purchase the bolt, that would be fantastic.
You could have two bolts
you
and
know
5
what?
barrels.
Like even comparatively, like if you go buy a Remington replacement bolt from PDG, they're like $550. Howa, like if you walk into Tundra Supply right now and go buy a donor Howa, they're like $800. So it ain't terribly far off.
That's a barreled action, though, right?
That's the whole rifle.
That's the whole rifle.
Oh, okay.
You should see. I got a whole.
No, but I'm saying it's more than just the action.
Yeah.
Well, what he's saying though is you can get the whole rifle and use the bolt pretty much for the same bloody cost that you can just get a bolt.
Yeah. Which is what we have done, right? Like I've got a whole shit pile. They're garbage plastic chassis sitting on the floor in my shop here that I'm gonna pull buttstocks off of and find something for. But yeah, like we have to buy the whole rifle, and then I unfortunately pass them through for way less than.
Hang on, we're in like low battery mode.
Oh boy.
Yeah, way less than retail just to get into the build.
Mm-hmm.
But that's right now the option is you got to buy a whole rifle in order to get the bolt, and obviously you wouldn't be able to sell an empty receiver. But the nice thing is, I mean, they come.
No,
with
but you could get another.
standard.
You could get that other gun in a similar, like a third caliber that is, using the same bolt face.
Yeah.
Let's, for sake of argument, say 7.62 by 39. Christ knows why you would do that, but and then you just whichever gun you're putting.
If you had the 2 barreled actions, then you could swap off like that.
Right, pretty much any intermediate level cartridge, right?
Yeah. Well, and 7.62-39 is a solid little deer cartridge.
Yeah,
it is. Whether
Right, like,
anybody
As long
wants
as you're
to
not
admit it or
buying the
not.
Chinese crate ammo.
Right, exactly.
As long as you're not running USMC through it.
Yeah.
Okay, Spudman's fired some shots here. We've got to address this. You knew this was going to come up.
Okay.
The new CZ 600, like the CZ 457, can swap barrels in 10 minutes or less. Let's get into
But
that.
the 600, the 600 is quite a bit heavier than this Howa, isn't it? Or
Honestly,
the trail. Sorry, I'm thinking about the trail because the
Trail,
trail is the one that's
But
going to be the most comparable to what we're talking about.
That's right.
Yeah, and honestly, I can't speak to it. I haven't seen the specs on it. I don't know. We started this project middle of last year. We did have some delays. We were working with another carbon fiber barrel manufacturer first, and then we moved to IBI.
They delayed us 4 months.
Yeah.
What is the weight?
26 weeks. Yeah.
What is the weight for the Howa?
So, the weight of the Howas is 6 pounds.
6 pounds.
Yeah.
So the Howa is a little bit less than the CZ, because the CZ is a little over 6 pounds according to the Googles.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to flat out say it. CZ copied us.
Yeah. I don't know the quality of the receiver. I do know that we've got a premium chassis. When we squeeze the action into these chassis, you can hang and shake the chassis upside down and they don't pop out. I've honestly never seen a fit quite this tight on chassis. Like, the machine quality is excellent. The fully collapsible buttstock, whereas I'm pretty sure the CZ is still more of an AR carbine type buttstock.
It is, yeah. It is,
These have an adjustable comb. So one of the big things that I hated, like that MX Bison thing that's out.
Oh, Jesus. We were looking at that at XRO the other day, Kurt. We were fiddling with one.
Well, and the comb is like 1.5 inches lower than the scope rail, which makes getting a cheek weld really difficult. Like, the ergos were really poor on it. So when we looked at this, the comb is very close to the scope rail, which means, like, I run a 2.5 to 10 traditional scope. He runs an LPVO. Both of them have excellent eye relief and cheek welds. We went with carbon fiber premium button rifled match grade stainless barrels. Those cost more money. Like, we're not playing at the entry level. We're not playing at the low end. We're giving you a match grade precision rifle.
That fits in a truck and a backpack.
Yeah. Threaded muzzles, thread cap protectors, like, it is what it is. And it's a Howa mini action, but the other components are pricey components.
But I don't think that the call the Howa mini maybe like the weak part of the link in terms of top quality, but I don't think it was really weak. Like, I thought that the action was very smooth.
Yeah,
it's a very underrated action.
Let's be honest, it's a Japanese made action. The factory trigger, we've got tuned down to 1.5 pounds, 2-stage, and it's drop safe.
That's a factory trigger?
And that is a factory trigger.
You guys do
I
not
thought
do
it was
any
a custom
truing
trigger,
on that
so
action,
there you go.
So my trigger that you guys got, I pulled the seal off and I dropped it to the minimum that spring would go to. The ones we release from here, we won't touch the triggers on. They'll be at about 2.5 pounds. I got mine down to 1.5 with just a manual adjustment. You can trim the spring and get them down a little lower. I didn't bother.
A pound.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not for a truck gun. You don't want it.
That trigger was just
it's
fantastic.
A crisp trigger.
I thought it was a custom trigger.
Yeah, and Steve
I actually did.
Steve could speak to it more, but Howa themselves, whether it be the 1500, the Weatherby Vanguard, the Howa Minis, they've been coming out fairly true. Like, they're a fairly good action. I mean, Tikas, we don't cut at all. They've been bang on. But the Howa so far are a really good action. They're an integral recoil lug. They are smooth. They cycle nice.
Yeah.
They're not a terrible action. And again, it's $800 for the rifle alone. So it's already more money than the CZ is as a base product.
So here's an interesting question. Dan Castillo wants to know: would you sell them in anything other than the JTAC?
The Howa?
The Howa.
Well, you're selling a kit right now.
In anything other than the JTAC?
Yeah, that's what he was asking. Yeah,
I do have one spare barreled action. Like, I'd sell a barreled action. I just have to take a look and see what else is available. Like, I have to check the MDT line and see.
Because they have rails. I
think there's an LSS.
Here's something that I thought would be.
So long as he stops spamming me from his IG account that got hacked.
Right, no kidding, right?
You guys
have you seen all my my posts lately?
My Bitcoin investment program.
Right. I said to him, dude, I think somebody's hacked your account. He's like, yeah.
I had to reach out to one of our other team shooters, Adam Cool, because I think they shoot in the same league. I'm like, who's this Dan Castillo guy?
Oh. Poor guy. Fucking fighting with Facebook right now. Jesus.
Speaking of other chassis, I think I said this on air, but just in case I didn't, I thought that like if I was going to change anything on that rifle, of yours that we were playing with, it would have been the chassis. And not that there's anything wrong with the chassis. It's just for me, it wasn't my cup of tea. And I you're talking about MDT. I thought it was too bad that the HNT 26 chassis doesn't come in a mini action.
Whoa.
Oof.
Because that would be
something.
That would be a great.
that would be
It would
hard to
increase
beat.
the price, but it's a great that chassis is the chassis.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a $2,000 chassis. So I think if guys are complaining at $3,000 for this with a $950 chassis, I might have trouble selling those ones.
Yeah, you might. But, well,
But-
moot point anyways, because they don't make it in a mini action. But I think that would.
That Hunt
I-
26 is what? Retail?
It's a
With the
$2,000.
folder, they're like $18.99. After the price increase, I think they're higher.
No, with the folder, it's $18.99. I checked the other day.
Yeah.
I checked the other day because I'm like, I don't have a hunting rifle and I don't hunt a lot. Man, that's just a nice chassis.
They're the tits, man, and they're
Yeah.
absolutely incredible.
I'm telling you guys, this is the way to go.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
What is that?
Actors United.
Was that a
No,
was
AICS.
that a
AICS.
that looked like a thumb hole stock?
Yeah, it's an AICS. That was the original chassis. That was it.
They put a thumb hole where no one's thumb was.
Yeah.
Good sweet Jesus!
My thumb fits quite nicely there, thank you.
It was a nice chassis. I
Is
had
that
one. I had a folder.
that's a folding thumb hole stock. Look
It
at
is.
that.
Yeah, I had a folder. That was the first chassis, first rifle custom I ever did, and I loved it. The
Yeah.
2.0.
I had one of the like knockoff clones that ATRS used to build for the Savages.
Right. Yep. Oh my God, I remember that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ugly.
Oh, I know. Yeah, the trigger didn't inset properly into it, and that didn't fit right. It was, not.
Well, you know
designed
what?
For Savage.
That thing there, unlike most stuff out there, will fit Nancy. Like the spacers, there's enough of them that are it'll get short enough that'll fit my girlfriend who's 4'11".
Yeah.
You
Oh,
should
that's
4'11".
And the kids and my kids, right? What's that?
Tiny girlfriend, tiny hands.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah, I look massive in her hands. Yeah.
Match made in heaven.
Really pumps my ego, man.
That's right.
Why do you think we made short barrels?
Yes. To make me
Although
feel like part of the group.
your StreamYard is murdering my phone. We're gonna hit 10% here in minutes. So if there's anything you
Okay.
guys want to wrap
Well-
up, we
Well,
should
let
hit
me make a statement and see if you guys agree with this, because
Hit it.
we've been comparing, and other people seem to be comparing the Howa to two other rifles, the MRX Bison and the 600 Trail. First of all, the 600 Trail, like nobody even knows what it's like. Second of all, the MRX Bison, like, okay, it's got a great trigger in it, absolutely fantastic trigger in it. Props to Trigger Tech, but you know, it's an entry level rifle.
100%.
You know, it's got tooling marks on it. The bolt is not smooth.
Your barrel is probably one of those nice $50 Chinese barrels.
It's a quick and
it's a-
dirty rifle.
It's probably a 4 or so MOA rifle, but you know, as like for an entry level truck gun, okay, cool. I suspect that the 600 Trail is probably going to be a great mid-level gun.
CZ
in
makes a
that
great product. They always have.
Well,
Yeah.
So
I see, and as this has evolved, and especially with the caliber options that you guys have made available for it now, I see the Howa being your premium option. I again, I haven't tested the Trail. I guarantee you, it's going to shoot better than the Bison.
Yep.
In terms of accuracy,
Oh,
consistency.
I agree with that 100%.
And I'll put dollars to donuts that barrel's going to shoot better than a Trail too.
Well, so there are other products out there. I don't mind mentioning my competitors because I'm very confident in the product that we produce. So S&J Hardware, they do a little mini. It's based off of a Savage action, and they do the 12-inch barrels, and they use MBT chassis. Okay. Simon's always done good stuff. He stands by his customers. His customer service is good. But like I say, I thought when we looked
still
at
a
it,
2,000 plus action or rifle.
Yeah, they're much closer to our price point, but it's a steel barrel. It's IBI. But again, I thought we tried to put a more practical approach, maintain our barrel length, get more collapsible, and we went carbon instead of steel, and it drives the price point.
Yeah.
Red Deer Shooting Center, they have a little kind of mini program, as a shorty program.
And I think it's off a KRG chassis.
They use a KRG Bravo, I believe, or as an option, they do barreled actions. They offer KDEX action, so it's a full size as well, and they do little stumpy barrels on full size cartridges. So we tried to stick with cases that were efficient in the barrel length, give you maximum barrel length, give you a complete package, and a collapsible chassis. We are a little bit more money than those two options, but they're in the ballpark. And I think from a practicality and a functionality standpoint, I'd like to think that we thought ours through and that it meets the purpose. When we start talking the CZ and the Bison, those are factory platforms. They're mass produced. I think the quality checks are going to reflect that. I think the CZ always builds a good product. They have good quality control, but it's a factory produced product. I think the company behind the Bison, I think everybody knows who they are, and I think everybody knows exactly what to expect from them. If that's where you want to spend your money, we're probably not the shop you're talking to anyways. But in the end, we have quality checks. We're checking the barrels. We're dealing with IBI. We're assembling them and making sure that they do what they're supposed to do. We chose all premium products. That's like comparing our custom hunting rifles to Christensen or Fierce. Those are mass-produced guns. We're not in the same price point. We don't aim to be in the same price point. We also provide you different quality and service guarantees. So I think there's, I sold cars when I was young. There's an ass for every seat. There's a gun for every hand.
Well,
I
that's
agree.
right.
Yeah.
And if you look at the stuff like JTAC themselves, who is, again, they're specializing in suppressors, so super short barrels and stuff like that. They have wicked lead times. They can't keep enough Howas in stock. They can't crank chassis out fast enough. They've got their times down a bit, but they were looking at like 12 to 16 weeks at one point before they added a couple more machines to their shop to get that down. But then they were waiting on Howas. It was like this constant back. So even though, Canada's a much smaller marketplace and US has the suppressor benefit, there are still guys down in the States that are like, this is a friggin' good chassis. This is a good setup. So again, like Shane said, if this is too much, and you're looking at a Bison, then this is probably not the shop for you. But at the same time, I have no problems. I would take this and put it through a torture test and throw it out of my truck and that. And I know when I picked it up, I would be holding zero, it would be shooting, and it's going to work.
We would have done that, by the way, when we had it if it wasn't Shane's
Right.
rifle.
Yeah.
We would have thrown the shit out of
100%.
it.
I get that.
We would have done like a forgotten weapons mud test.
I didn't
on it.
receive authorization.
Drag it behind
for
the
that.
truck. Yeah.
Well, and the only really significant thing we need to change here down the road is we're both running primary arms optics because those were, I think, the best choices we had in our budgets and functionality. Once that Apex 1 to 10 comes out,
1 to 10.
Because I have a
amen.
primary arms 1 to 8.
yeah, we've been walking around with half chubs talking about these 1 to 10s because that's exactly what should be on these minis. Like,
Absolutely.
It's gotta make
half
it
want to
awkward
be
going
putting
to the
these together
grocery
as a
store.
package.
It's got to make it
for
awkward
sure.
going to the grocery store, but I understand what you mean.
Yeah. The primary arms makes a good product, and I have the PLA
sure.
or the PLX 1 to 8. But as soon as that 1 to 10 Apex comes out, this will be up on CGN. And
What's your battery at?
10%. You guys are going to get hung up on here in probably about 4 minutes.
Okay.
So
No.
We'll keep talking to you until you drop out, and then we'll sign off after that.
Okay.
So
no, and we do appreciate you guys having us on and getting us this information out there because I think everybody knows our website is dog shit and we don't have a web store. So we do appreciate you getting us out there.
Well, as long as a person can identify opportunities for improvement in their merchandise or their marketing, better website for 2023.
That's right.
Set your goals. Set your goals.
you know what? This is why the website is dog shit. Shane gets lonely, just wants to talk to people.
Yeah.
And people get sick of him. So he's got to have that constant flow of.
You know what?
That's
He's
a
only
solid strategy.
Yeah, he's only half wrong. We like the conversational engagement with our customers to make sure that we meet their needs. We're a custom shop. We're not a cookie cutter shop, and we don't want people just picking drop downs on a website and ordering product. I think this is really it's not specific to Curtis, it's specific to the PRS market, but things have become so Lego plug and play that everyone wants to build their own guns. They order their action, they order a pre-fit, they order their chassis, they screw them all together. And then all of a sudden they're like, fuck, it doesn't feed. It doesn't do this. I'm having this problem. And people don't realize that you got to time a mag. You have to time a mag latch. I caught a really funny thread the other day where some guy was talking about how it's all about the bevel on your breech face. And these flat breeched barrels don't feed and you got to have a relieve. And I'm like, no, some have coned bolts and some have and
if you relieve too much, there's some unsupported brass.
Yeah. I'm like, you should leave that to your smith to figure out. Because
you see that nice ring 200 thou in front of your case face or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. He had 3 different barrels from 3 different actions. He's like, this one feeds good. And this one doesn't feed good. I'm like, well, that's not cut for Curtis or Terminus. So they're not supposed to have a bevel there, bud. I'm like, you need to have your mag latch timed, and that is it.
Well, before you guys go,
Smith should have done it.
Before you guys drop out, you should tell everybody what your website is. You should tell everybody what your phone number is so that you have people to talk to next week.
Yeah, so we can dox you all over the internet.
Yeah.
So Facebook is the easiest way to find us. It's just EM Precision Rifles on Facebook. We do have an Instagram, which is EM Precision Rifles. Website is emprifles.ca. Right. And my cell phone is 780-690-7513. It does not have EM Precision on the voicemail because I've got 2 other full-time jobs. But feel free to shoot me a text or leave me a message. I get back to you. If I see a missed call, I phone everybody back.
And he's usually getting back to people when we're trying to play Call of Duty. So all of a sudden we're all dying.
That's why
he's got us on mute.
Yeah. Both Steve and I work full-time in the energy sector. So EM Precision is a part-time gig for us. We do.
It's a full-time gig, but it's.
Yeah, it's full-time, part-time. We do about 120, 150 rifles a year. And I'm going to give a shout out to Fabian Getson. He's the silent slave in our shop that gets no credit at all. I mean, Steve gets no credit because he's never available for this stuff. But we also have another monkey in the shop who nobody ever says hi to and nobody ever gives any credit to. But
poor guy.
That's not completely true. I say hi every once in a while.
That's right. And
once a year that you're there,
we got this ongoing joke that we're going to get him the red Star Trek shirt, but he doesn't like that idea. And I was going to get him a jersey that said fucking Fabian, but Steve says not to do that.
Got that little thing there.
Yeah, that's right. So, no, but a big shout out, like all of our Cerakote, all of our bedding, all that stuff is done by Fabian. He's really come a long ways and he's really grown in the shop. He's been in for, it's got to be near 3 years now. So, yeah, he's doing well.
Yeah. Good deal. Awesome. All right. And John Iskew at
Tundra
Supplies.
What do I have to give him a shout out for? John doesn't do shit.
Just cause.
You know what? John,
just do it.
John helped supply me my my A-tips for my 300 PRC.
Yeah.
Helping me out there because when you're spending $1 to $2 per trigger pull, any help is appreciated. And we got to actually shoot with him out at Darryl Mays and help him with his rifle, coach him up, set it up, zero it up. And so and then he sold you the house.
Yeah. John is my Howa dealer. He's like a little crack dealer.
Yeah.
And actually most of the powder you run comes from John.
Yeah. Yes, you know what? I need to stay in closer contact with John for Reloader 19. Or 19, Jesus Christ, what am I talking about? Reloader 50.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Isn't that what you're talking about, Shane?
No.
Or are you talking broad scope?
No, the 50 BMG, those kegs I sent, I think most of that come from John.
Yeah, for Jens's rifle. I ended up with Reloader 50.
Oh, that I got from the customer showing up tomorrow to pick up that XC. I got all that Reloader from him. I got people everywhere.
No.
All about the stashes.
Okay.
Yeah.
If we're going to shout out Tundra, let's shout out Tundra. It's tundrasupply.ca. That's how you get a hold of them. I mean, for Christ's sake, if you're going to shout them out, shout them out.
We also got some pistols from him too, so it's good.
Yeah, they have an amazing little shop. Like they're a great crew. Like it's not just John. Obviously, John runs the show, but their whole crew is a really good group of guys.
Yeah.
Well, maybe a public shout out to whoever keeps robbing John. We've booby trapped the shop. Next time you open a window, somebody's gonna fucking die.
Did they actually
can
get
you
in?
believe that?
He's on what is it?
That's three.
Third time this year?
Third time
Oh,
this.
God.
Well,
No
in the
kidding.
last
6 months.
in the last 6 to 8 month period, he's had two times they drove right through the friggin' front window. And yeah, the last time was just probably 2 weeks ago when Chacho was on.
They keep getting in through the main floor, which is his dad's shop.
No,
Yeah, right.
no, they went through the second story window the first time. They backed the truck
Oh,
up,
did they
pushed
really?
the ladder up to it, ripped the
Oh,
bars off.
I only
Yeah.
heard about the second one.
And you know what? I have to say, EPS, like their response times were super fast, but these guys are in and out like goddamn lightning.
Yeah,
Unreal.
Yeah.
ridiculous.
I mean, EPS
And-
way
and, like,
faster than CPS.
Landmines.
And like,
Landmines.
how are you going to landmines? Seriously though, how do you make that less hard to break into? They're on the second fucking floor. They got bars on the windows.
Right.
You're walking up like 15 feet of stairs before you can even get anywhere. Like,
Yeah, it's crazy.
man,
It's ridiculous what some of these guys are doing, and I've been to a couple myself with an even faster response time than that. But
Yeah, of course
you
you
know,
were.
it's
Yeah,
absolutely ridiculous
anyway.
what some of these people are prepared to do.
yeah.
Yeah, unreal.
So, anyways, all right, we're gonna go because this phone's gonna die.
Cool.
All right. Sounds
Thanks for
good.
joining
Thanks,
us, guys.
For joining
Thanks
us.
great.
for having us.
Thank you for allowing Kurt to be the expert on the show for once.
What we do. We're caregivers.
I guess when you have finally have a non-rim fire show.
That's right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
We got-
nice comment there, Jens.
Private rimfire.
Somebody's been talking to Jens.
All right.
All right,
All
boys.
right.
Thanks,
See you
guys.
later,
Later.
losers.
Later.
Bye-bye.
Well,
that was
now that
fun.
we finally get rid of those guys, geez.
I know. Can we actually talk about something serious for once?
Holy shit!
I'll fully admit when when we had that Howa and I was shooting it, I was like, this thing is too Gucci for its own good. And that's why I started thinking that like it's a rifle that needs a purpose. But the more that I've thought about it since we've had the rifle,
Mm-hmm.
the more, and I fully intend to own a collapsible 223 truck gun or more probably 6.5 Grendel.
Right. Yeah.
And the more I think about it, the more I would just like I would do a little bit extra work. I would get a little bit extra cash, and I would get the Howa over, especially after like I don't want to smack talk. It's an entry level rifle. Like the Bison is an entry level rifle.
Yep.
So great.
Yep.
It's great at that price point.
Clearly.
And the trail would be great because it's CZ, and CZ doesn't really make shit.
Yep.
However, if I have a truck gun and I ever need that truck gun,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't matter. Like I'm not talking about zombie apocalypse here because I'm not fantasizing.
We're not doing the top 5 anymore.
Yeah, I'm not doing the top 5.
Yeah.
But if I ever if I ever need to get a coyote, you know, I want to hit that fucking coyote. And this is the rifle that's going to do it.
I can tell you from years of, and this is years ago, but years of coyote hunting, like a madman. The guns I used were just the guns that I had available to me.
Right.
But that little truck gun would have been the ideal gun for being in the truck, going to different places, seeing coyotes along the way, bailing out of the truck, hammering at a coyote, getting back in, fucking off, going to the next spot, finding a spot, parking, hiking a half a mile to get to a good spot to call coyotes,
Yeah.
and then dispatch 2 or 3, hopefully.
But the one time you don't have a rifle while you're driving in your truck, you'll see 6 of them.
Well, you know, stupid Chris. The whole time that we had that rifle of Shane's, that 223, I took it with me everywhere. Every time I had the chance to get out of town.
Yep.
And never once did I see a damn coyote.
Of
Never
course not.
freaking once. And I
Didn't
wanted
you take
so
a
bad
photo of
for-
one like just a couple of weeks ago? Or that was a fox or was it a coyote? I can't remember.
Oh,
You said
that
this
was
a photo.
that was an Arctic fox way
That was a
up,
fox. Okay,
way
yeah.
up
So you don't
north.
necessarily want to shoot that one. But.
Not really.
Yeah.
No, I don't shoot foxes anyway. Even red foxes down here, they're not common enough, and they do more good than they do harm. So
Yeah, exactly. Well,
I haven't shot a red fox since I was like 15. So,
but also like coyote is different than fox in terms of hunting legalities,
Jesus.
right? So
yeah. Well, like coyotes, you kill coyotes and they'll compensate by adding or having larger litters.
mhm.
Foxes are not that way.
Mhm.
You kill a fox and you kill a family, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So,
and fox are way more useful in the ecosystem.
Absolutely, they're not nearly the ignorant little fucking scavengers that the coyotes are.
Yeah, the fox are going after different food than we are in November, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Here's an interesting so obviously Phil's not on the show. I can't just ask Phil, but so maybe I'll ask you because I'm not familiar with this cartridge. Phil says I've used 6.8 SPC a bunch and I really like it. What do you know about 6.8 SPC?
Well, you know what? I'm not a big fan of the 270 caliber.
Yeah. We talked about that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But you know what? In a lighter bullet,
boomer.
Okay, take a step back, motherfucker. you might be 6'8" or whatever the fuck you are, but I'm fucking angry.
I asked a question. Maybe I'll just let you answer it.
6'8", I think, with like 110 grain bullet rather than the typical 130, 150 out of a 270 with really heavy hunting bullets, might have some merit. And that 6.8 is
is that a mini action cartridge or? Well,
I cannot remember now.
Okay,
I have one around here somewhere. Whether a 6.8 SPC is in a 223 cartridge or it's a different case, or if it's a different case altogether. But I think it has some merit. But it's nothing that blows my hair back at all. I'd personally, I'd rather have a 6.5 Grendel. There's the sectional density, if you want to talk about terminal performance and all that kind of stuff. Sectional density out of a 6.5 is far better than a 27 caliber.
Yeah,
I just looked dare anybody to argue that.
I just looked it up on the Googles. Apparently, the parent case for the 6.8 SPC is 30 Remington.
Oh yes, okay.
So that's short action, right?
Yeah, it is for sure.
I mean, short or mini?
No, it's 30
mini.
Remington is I think very similar to the 30 M1. That 30 carbine cartridge. Very similar to that. Some differences, but fairly equatable, I think. But pretty short, like the 223. Phil says SPC is about 110 to 125 grain, and I like it as I have an AR size semis and proper bolt guns in the caliber, and it hits pretty solid with low recoil. That I have no doubt.
And you just need a 270 bolt face on it. Or no, because his parent case is 30 Remington, so you just need a 30 caliber. Yeah, you saw the comment now. I'm being smack talked by Shane's wife, Carrie Mansour. For the audio listeners, a little self-deprecation on my part because I'm going to read her comment out loud. Carrie Mansour says it doesn't blow my hair back either. So for our audio listeners, I shave my head.
Yes.
In my defense. Oh, it's Shane on his wife's Facebook account. In my defense, I only shave my head because of male pattern baldness.
That's funny. Dan Castillo is saying 6R could have less recoil than the 6.8, I believe, and that's absolutely correct because.
But are either of them going to have a lot of recoil?
Well, neither really.
It'll part my mustache.
But I don't know. It's just a different flavor on the it's a.
Do you like 270
different,
or do you like 264?
Well, right. You know what?
64? That's right? 6.5,
Listen,
264?
you talk about a 110 or a 125 grain bullet in a 270 versus a 123 or a 140 grain bullet in a 6.5.
Mm-hmm.
That sectional density is a lot higher in the 6.5 than it is the 270.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as I could see, while that 6.8 has some merit, it's just marketing. I don't think there's anything special about it. It's just like any new cartridge coming out now. There's so much that's old that is new again.
Yeah.
You know,
Can I be honest though?
Absolutely.
I didn't know about 6.8 SPC. Never knew it existed.
Oh,
Now that I know it's a 270 caliber, like I kind of want it.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, look on the bright side.
Man.
Look on the bright side. This opens up the 6.5 Grendel for you, though. So you can have the Grendel, and I'll do a 6.8 SPC.
Sure. Let's do that. Okay, so I've had this question lots, and Spudman brings this up. I always wanted to try a 7mm 8.
Yeah.
And I'd had this question asked to me so many times in the past, like, what is a good youth or women's cartridge, beginner cartridge to start out on? And you know what? I've always been a fan of the 243. I'm a lifelong 243 lover. However, you have to make sure, like on bigger game, that your shot placement is good. Now, a 7.8 is more forgiving. Your sectional density is much higher in a 7mm bullet than it is in a 6mm bullet. You think 1 millimeter difference diameter, what does that make? It actually equates, if you use a sectional density calculator, it actually equates to a lot more effective terminal energy. Or terminal performance, however you want to describe that. 7 mils just seem to kill much better than a lot of other cartridges. Spud's saying always wanted to try a 7mm 8. You know what? I had a 284 for the longest time, and it was a fucking amazing cartridge. Took a 168 VLD routinely out to 1,500 yards easily. My 280 Remington killed many things with it, and without any trouble at all.
Phil's getting mathematical now, and I'm not going to be able to keep up. This is where
side of the 6.8.
No, you said the last comment there. He says it's the square of the radius, so the area reduces exponentially for the same weight. I don't know what that means. You appear to.
So the square of the radius. So
the square of the radius.
You've got a 6.
Is that not the diameter?
You've got a 6 versus a 7mm diameter projectile, right? So the square of the radius. So 3mm versus 3.5 mil, you square that. He says reduces exponentially for the same weight. So you take a 140 grain 7mm versus a 140 grain 6.5 mil. You square the radius of the 6.5. It ends up being higher than the square of the radius of. Wait, maybe I'm fucked up. No.
Yeah, because it would be like 13 versus 14.
The 7mm has a larger frontal diameter,
right.
But
Phil's giving us
factor in the weight. Sectional density is weight over bore area.
Yeah.
Pi r squared. Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Everybody knows that.
Everybody's like laughing their ass off right now. You know what? We got like several dozen people watching us live right now, and they're all laughing their asses off at us, and not fucking one of them is coming up with the right answer in their head. I guarantee it. We're just the two schmoes who are trying to do it on a live podcast.
Basically, sectional density, I think, is frontal area squared with the length of the projectile, or some goddamn things sort of like that.
Okay.
Because a 6.5 140 is longer than a 7 140.
Yeah, okay, that's sort of making sense. So what he's saying is that the same weight projectile,
right?
The 7mm is still going to have a higher. No, length is.
Oh,
not part
Phil
of it.
says length is not a part of it.
We need.
God damn it!
We need you to make a video, Phil.
No,
But I think what he's saying is, I don't understand this at all. But I think what we're getting at here is
I got to go read some stuff again.
Yeah, it sounds like what we're talking about is a 7mm versus a 6.5. The same weight bullet in both. You're going to get a higher sectional density out of the 7mm still.
No, out of the 6.5 is a higher sectional density
The
than
6.5 is the higher
in the
sectional
same
density.
bullet weight.
Oh, okay. So okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not going to pretend to understand the math there, but I'm just going to go with it.
Wade says we need Phil on the show again, and I think we need to do Phil.
Yeah.
Phil.
We need to talk
math.
about bullets. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Math 10C with Phil O'Dell. We're
Right.
going back to high school, bitches.
Oh, goodness me.
Oh, that's
all
hilarious.
right.
Well, we're at an hour and 55. We really should
Yes, I know.
sign off. But before we do, are
listen.
you doing it?
Sure. Please check out the show at www.facebook.com/FFP podcast / really?
That's it.
Is that it?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
And before all you
Leave a
bitches
review.
log off, there are more people watching right now than there are likes on our podcast. So make sure you like and feed the algorithm.
You buggers.
You sons of bitches.
Let us know how you're doing. If you like the content, please leave a like, all that business. You can email questions to us as well, whether or not you need long-range shooting advice, mental toughness. I'm not sure about that. Self-defense coaching.
I don't do so. Like, I don't know. Sean wrote that, and he's just trying to make me seem like I can contribute.
I know,
something.
but you know what?
But
you
I
choke
can't.
people out, and it's cool.
I
like it.
Sure.
Technical questions. At any rate, we'd love to hear from you. Email us at info@ffpp.ca. Just do it.
Just do it.
Flood us. And
I would like to get an email from somebody, even if the email is just like just one person. I want somebody from
you guys
fucking
are a bunch of plugs.
I want one of our listeners from South Africa just to hey, how's it going? It was 98 degrees here today. Are you enjoying your minus 34 Fahrenheit? Oh wait, they probably use Celsius too. So
yeah,
it was plus 36 here today. Are you enjoying your minus 27? Anyway.
All right. Listen, folks, ScoutVid. Go check them out at scoutvid.com. They're an interactive platform for youth of all ages to showcase their talent. From profiles to highlight reels, we put you front and center in the hockey world. Whether you're just getting into hockey or looking to make an impression on a junior club, ScoutVid gives you the tools to get noticed. Welcome to the show. Find them on Facebook, Instagram, and their website at scoutvid.com. Get your kids into the game. Send a video. So before we get into the rest of the end of the show here, first of all, Dan on YouTube says, Chris, did you get that mill to MOA conversion link? No, Dan, I didn't. I saw that. Thank you, Dan.
I promise.
I'm working on him, Dan.
You know what? I'm not a theoretical guy when it comes to shooting. You know what? I'm waiting until
we're working on him.
Yeah, I'm going to be an MOA guy until the Apex 1 to 10 comes out, and then I will learn. I was just walking away. I will learn MILRADs on the Apex 1 to 10 scope. That's my promise to the world. I'm going to learn MILRADs on that scope. Is that the 6.5 by 47?
It is.
Okay, so maybe I'll learn MILRADs on that because I really enjoyed shooting that rifle.
This is your last chance at MOA.
Is that an MOA rifle?
It is. We're not going to tell anybody exactly what it is, but this is MOA. Last chance, Chris. From here on out,
We'll see.
You're going to be a Milradian guy.
We'll see. I'll definitely I'll be a Milradian guy for sure when the Apex 1 to 10 comes out. You guys just got to give me a reason to learn it, right? So Phil says, tell me you want to do a podcast on this math and we'll set up a camera and calculate. I think the next time we have Phil on, we're just going to do that. Like,
I think we might as well do that sooner than later.
I think for our own survival, we shouldn't do the whole podcast just as a math lesson.
Yes.
But I also don't think that's a problem because Phil's pretty entertaining to talk to.
Yes,
So.
true enough. So Dan Castillo.
Yeah.
He's
Peter
asking
does
Jen-
have a podcast. Is that the question? Sorry, I should
Oh,
just
that
let
one.
you ask the question. I'm
Which-
sorry. Go ahead.
This one? Oh.
I'm sorry. I've totally hijacked what you were doing.
I was just being a dick.
Okay.
Dan, he asked Gen 3, and I'm just going to respond with mind your own fucking business. Just be patient.
Yeah, we're working on it. Actually, that works into Jens's. No, okay.
Just that.
Yeah, the answer is I don't know.
That's right. That
You got
is
a clue.
right.
Because for some reason we put you in a position where you're testing and reviewing multiple manufacturers of scopes all at the same time.
That's right.
Yeah, it was smart of us, right?
Excellent.
Give it
So-
to Kurt. He's the long
Right.
distance guy. He'll figure it out.
It is. Yes. Peter does have a podcast, I believe,
yes.
doesn't he?
I believe it's also called Impact Shooting, and I think we are trying to work with his schedule to get him on the show because he was a really cool guy when we talked to him
Seemed
at
like a
SHOT
great
Show. It'd be
guy.
nice to have on, and it'll be another episode where me and Sean are mostly just listening, and you and Peter just talking away.
That's okay. I enjoy that.
Yeah. We can do Mills and MOA. See, Phil is an inclusive man. Phil says we can do Mills and MOA on the math show. Thank you, Phil, for accepting me for who I am.
That will
instead
honestly,
of trying to change me.
Well, listen, that will be a great show, honestly,
I think
because
that will be actually.
because a lot of us need that re-education. I think for that sort of math, it's pretty important, and it's a good thing not to lose one or the other.
Okay, I need to read William Sanchez.
William Sanchez.
Okay, William says stop ban guns. I think he means gun bans.
Yeah.
And the annoying orange and guns with magazine with violence, veto games and guns and dogs and cars. They make people criminals. I think he's being facetious, but I also think that William may have had too much to drink during the show. Yeah. So William also says, when I become president, I will ban guns. Oh, he will ban guns. And the annoying orange. I don't know what is the annoying orange?
Well, you know what? There's burnt orange on the Apex optics.
Yeah, and it's fucking awesome, William.
It's great.
With magazines and violence veto games with guns and dogs and
I've
cars.
heard about those
They
veto
make
games.
people
I don't like them at all.
I'm starting to
At
think
all.
that William might actually be trolling us. He might not be sarcastic. Why do you have a picture of a gun? They kill people.
Oh, you know that fucking gun back there.
He's talking about the 6.5. He's talking about the 6.5 in the background.
Yeah. Son of a gun.
Oh, you know, that's not true,
terrible.
actually, William. That's entirely untrue. This particular 6.5 Creedmoor is reformed. It actually goes on the circuit talking to other guns.
He's taking Jesus into his heart.
That's right. Talking to it about its former life.
That's it.
And it is it has, like you said, it's accepted Jesus into its life, and it is fully reformed, and it only shoots milled trees now.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
and the flat, thin little sheets, a couple of mils thick each. That's all that shoots now. Yes, guns kill people.
That's
Angry
all.
face. Who will vote for me as president? William might be forgetting that we're in Canada and we don't have a president.
You might get that obese 48-year-old sitting in his mom's basement on the couch jerking off and cheeses all over his chest and strawberry milkshake on his fucking beard.
I really hope he was trolling us. I'm really kind of excited at the prospect that we might actually have a live troll right now, because
awesome.
I'll stay online for that shit.
Oh shit!
Get off the sauce, you hammered fool. Well, I think we should probably wrap this up before the multiple guns that we have in the safe behind me, jump out of there and cause havoc across the world.
Surrounded, son of a bitch!
Oh my God!
Save me!
It's too late for you, Rooster. I will remember you, my friend.
All right. Make a movie about me. Write a book.
Write a book. I'm going to write a book and we're going to turn it into a movie, damn it.
All right, you bunch of clowns.
Oh, I wish he would have trolled us earlier in the show, because we're going long now.
All right. Thanks for coming out, fellas.
Yes. Oh, wait. We're not done with our read here, so we need to specifically thank the people behind the companies that are sponsoring our show. Yes. We've got Shane and Steve. We got Miles, Carey, and Cappy. We've got Duncan and Rob. We got Phil O'Dell. We got Doug and Nisa. We got Warren, Vanya, and Carly, and Oscar. We need to thank all of you guys in a measurable amount. We actually will be announcing another supporter of our show in the coming weeks, and we very much appreciate them, and we are very excited to be working with them in the coming 6 months or year or 70 years or 80 years, and it's going to be awesome. But
we'll be here for all of it.
We're here for all of it. Can I just say I'm a little upset that William hasn't made a comment in like 5 minutes.
I know. It's a shame.
William, what happened, buddy? Can't we all just get it on?
You know what? We should refer William to Ribstone Gunsmithing in Zara, Alberta.
Yes, and in all seriousness, go do your referral.
Well, ribstonegunsmithing.ca. He's the Wizard of Zar.
That's
Zara,
right.
Alberta.
Zara,
for all your gun plumber needs. Look him up. Oscar Long, ribstonegunsmithing.ca. Phil says he fell off his chair, probably. Yeah, or he had to go get more cheesy.
Yeah, his mom called him for dinner, and he was
That's
like,
right.
"We haven't Pop-Tarts again. Oh, Pop-Tarts!
Pickles is time for dinner.
Pickles." We've just decided that William's mom calls him Pickles.
I'm just glad she doesn't call him Skippy. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, can I just say something? I know that New Year's is over. We're into February now, and we're getting even close to mid-February. But if I could retroactively have a New Year's resolution or New Year's hope, maybe it's that we get more trolls live on the show.
Yeah, it is entertaining, isn't it?
I really enjoy live trolls. Angry Pickle.
Angry Pickle.
Says Spudman. Anyways, William, you are clearly a very misinformed man, but I love you as a human being. Yeah. And I promise you I will be very safe from my guns tonight. They will not kill me. I promise you that. And the best part is they won't kill anyone else either. That's the great part about it.
One suggestion, William Pickle. Get a job.
Yes, get a job.
Get a goddamn job. Contribute to society. It's
and shave your sideburns, you goddamn
North
hippie.
Americans. Yeah. Anyway.
All
right, folks.
Let's get out of here before we
great fucking bullshit session. Okay, we're out of here. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for sticking with us for this. Holy crap, 2.25 hours.
Yeah,
we'll see you
have
next
a great week, everybody.
Pickles!
Pickles.